Welcome to the Jasmine and Diego
podcast.
episode 7, 6, it doesn't matter.
7.
But we have our official spiritual advisor.
First guest
on
our podcast.
Yeah.
Her name is. You want to introduce yourself? I'm going to bring you in.
I'm Nspyr, known as Nspyr. Really, I know they will say my
I was like, you're
family name. Yeah. Guys, everyone else really knows me as Nspyr.
Mhm.
Really, you guys are special.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
didn't know that.
I've never called you that before. I just call you.
That's
Kahea.
what I said. You guys.
I
are
mean, and
special.
I love your name. I love Kahea. It's just like.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
you guys
unique.
are special.
So you guys cannot call her that, okay?
Yeah. Don't do that.
Her your social media is all inspired.
Yeah,
How do you spell
everything
it?
is Inspire Me. It is Nspyrme.
Girl,
And
you're making it hard for me.
Nspyr.
I'll put it on the bottom
Yeah.
in the description.
Okay.
It should be good.
But that's what I go by. That's what I've been going by
Why?
for many years.
Yeah, because the first time I met you and we added each other on Instagram, it was Inspire.
Yeah. So it's funny because I really don't like to jump in when people introduce me, like when I am places. But I will always introduce myself as Nspyr and family.
Why
like
have I not known that?
when it's the
Yeah.
when someone is kind of being the middleman, like introducing me to someone, it's usually like on a family side, it usually is like Kahea, and then
Yeah.
I'm kind of just like, well, now you know me as Kahea.
So, like, obviously, Kahea is your name, but what do you feel more comfortable people calling you?
I feel like Nspyr is my purpose. So I feel like that.
Why didn't you ever tell me that? Because we're
I don't-
special.
Yeah, I'm also the kind of person where it's like, don't ask, won't answer.
Oh, okay, true.
You know?
So I never asked. Here I am 3 years later just finding out right now.
Right. But when you say why, and so it's funny because like in middle school, people actually used to call me a different name. And a friend just gave me that name. I didn't relate with the name. Don't even care to say the name. And so my freshman year, I was just like, this ain't it. And then it's funny because I was just like, I need to change my name for real. And it was one of those commercials like a long time ago, you know, where it's just like words, just like scrolling up the screen at like 3 a.m. And I was up at 3 a.m, just laying down and stuff. And then the person who's pretty much just the narrator is reading all the words on the screen. And I'm just laying there. I'm not even looking at the words. And the word that just I heard the loudest was Inspired. What? I was like, I'm going by Inspire. And then that morning, I had a class with my friend, and I told her, I was like, dude, I'm going by Inspire now. And she was just like, how you going to spell it? Like, it's too long. But then, and then I just wrote it on the paper. And I was like, I'm going to spell it like this. And she's like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And I just been Inspire ever since. And as, like, the years went on, it was just divine, really.
I never knew that. I've never heard this story before, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Why go by another name? Like, who thought you thought of that, or did you get that from somewhere else? Like,
So, I have been a very low-key person. And so I really didn't think about going with another name until my friend really put that name on me, and people were kind of just calling me that. And that's when I was just like, this ain't it. And in school, no one calls me Kahea. Kahea is really my middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone
What?
actually governmentally knows
Her name
me
is
as
Jamie.
Jamie.
Which is so crazy because you know my other friend Jamie, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I love
yeah.
her. Like, she is my soul sister, right? And then when I met her, and then she was like, oh, Kahea, and then she told me that her name is actually Jamie. I was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
she's
what
like,
the two closest people are both
Yeah.
Jamies.
It's like
Jamies are great.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's a double twist.
Yeah.
Two
So originally, honestly, I kept Jamie and Kahea has always been separate. Because Jamie's my first name, so it's like school-wise, government, everyone's always called me Jamie. Family, everyone's always called me Kahea. And so I've always went by 2 different names. And then when Nspyr came along and these other names came along, I never cared for Jamie. That was just given to me. You know what I mean? And I resonated with Kahea always.
I see.
Yeah.
Like, that makes more sense to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
like seeing her as a Jamie just doesn't really.
Yeah.
I know.
And even for what Kahea means, that's divine too, honestly. But I feel like Kahea is a little bit more sacred to me. And so I feel like Nspyr is for everybody.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
in my purpose.
Yeah.
And it's funny because a friend of mine actually asked me like that yesterday. He was just like, are you like it was pretty much like, are you inspired because like I'm inspiring people, or it's just like, do I call myself inspired because I plan to like really express, or like I am the inspiration, you know?
Yeah.
But I always really tell people that like me and Nspyr, or me and inspiration, really have become like one and the same.
Yeah.
I don't identify like as everyone really encounters me. You know what I mean? So it's like as everyone experiences me and encounters me, they encounter like me physically, you know? But I see myself as inspiration.
Okay. How did your...
We're done. That's it. That's all we needed to hear.
No, for real.
You would obviously call yourself, at least I think, a spiritual person, right? You're very...
So yes, and yes.
No pressure
I will.
here. We're just...
It's
and
just,
also, like, side note, cut this if you want. Like, if you don't feel comfortable with anything, we just cut it too. Okay,
yeah. I just really don't like labels. And I feel like spirituality has become mainstream.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with a lot of the mainstream things that are talked about regarding spirituality. So I really just like to say that I'm on my journey. Like, this is me. And I say that because, like, people even have definitions to the things that I say. So I can say,
you're like, nope, stop right there.
Don't put that on me.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I feel like that's the biggest reason why I even got out of church for real, because it was just people putting a lot on me.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm just like, dude, I'm just me. I'm not living up to anybody. I'm like, yeah, because that's what my whole thing is. Like, I'm not living up to anything, you know, living up to anything really anyone knows. Like, I'm just me. Don't hold anything to me.
So
as it should be.
Is there a point where your spiritual journey started, where you really like dove into...
Yeah. Too funny. When did I start my spiritual journey? I really want to say that I was very intentional with it in 2016. Yeah. That's when
How old were you at that time?
I think I was 22. Yeah. So I say 2016 because in 2011, and I was like, what, maybe 17 in 2011, that's when I got introduced to meditation, and I started meditating. But I would just meditate whenever it would come to mind, you know? So that's like maybe once a month, once every blue moon. But in 2016 is when I intentionally incorporated meditation and certain habits, you know, in my life that I was just like, you know, I'm going to do this for me. So 2016 is when I really added it to my schedule and really started doing it for myself.
Okay.
For real.
So since 2016.
Okay, so meditating, I know it can be hard for a lot of people. They don't want it.
And confusing. I feel like a lot of people don't really know how to meditate.
Yeah, so what like for a basic tip for a beginner on meditating, because people automatically think like, I know. Shut my mind off.
I can't clear my mind.
My number one, well, before I give a tip, but my tip before the tip is really to research before you say you can't do something or something is hard. Yeah. Because like I mentioned, just people having predefinitions. I feel like many people, as soon as they hear meditation, they feel like they have to shut off their mind, quiet their thoughts, be still,
which
don't
is what
move,
I've told you before.
Yeah, and it's meditation is not that.
Yeah,
it is.
And when
nothing.
you told me that, it was like an eye opener for me, because I was like, wait, you're right. The whole point is to be with your thoughts, not just let them go.
Can I ask a question? Is it okay? So my understanding of meditation is when you start, you get all those apprehensive thoughts that come to the surface, and the whole point is to try to silence your mind. But like, you get these intrusive thoughts, right? Do you have to work through them to get to that point of peace and clarity, or do you just like have to shut off your brain kind of thing? Like
it's not a shut off your brain.
Cerebral thing, like almost be a sociopath.
Yeah. We're not that.
Yeah, you think we are, but we're not.
No, yeah. Hey, no, for real. That's a different type of training. For real.
We're trying to be peaceful here, okay?
Yeah. So, you definitely don't shut off your brain. And then, so like I said, meditation, people have the wrong idea of it. And meditation ultimately is just becoming present and not trying to be anywhere else but present. And so it's more mindful. And then instead of shutting off your mind, you're learning that you're not your thoughts and that you are just the observer, that you're just the watcher. So when you're speaking,
now you're not going to judge us when we're meditating.
No, like you're trying to take life to an obtuse level, right?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to see the moment, because like
Period.
You don't exist outside of that moment.
Because ultimately, no one's living in the moment.
Yeah, 100%. So you aren't defined as that moment, because that moment can extend past currently.
You're defining yourself as the moment.
Time is irrelevant.
So that's where time is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. I love that you said that. And so that's
like
where that's where the struggle is that people are labeling themselves and defining themselves and allowing the moment to define them. Mm-hmm. So if you're just present and if you're just observing, you're just one with the moment. You move like the moment.
For
you know?
example, like I'm just saying, like the person who worries about paying their rent next week or paying a bill tomorrow.
Yeah, that's where they're in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
And in fear.
So it's like it's making sure that you understand in this moment none of those things are.
And that's where you're reliving a pattern and a fear rather than.
So that's the pattern of psychosis almost. Like
yeah.
Of where your character is leading you to of obsession towards these things.
Period.
You feel responsibility towards these things. And that's where people like get off the
don't understand that they're creating this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's pretty much it. Okay. And so my tip really for the most part is on a general level is find what is easier for you to become present. And I say that because there's a meditation called open eye meditation, mm-hmm. which is just becoming more aware of your environment. So we can lay on his bed and we can just be so detailed into like his little post-it cards, his light and the little posters and stuff. And you'll probably notice things you never noticed before because you wasn't really looking.
You weren't paying attention.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's just acknowledging what's here with you, because that's just where we have a lot to say, but we're not even embracing all that's right here. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you're even not embracing all that is right here, why are you constantly dismissing? She's
cooking. She's cooking.
Chefing it up right now.
But for me to just finish off that tip, I say on a general level, for you to find what makes you become more present is because everyone is different. And so if you're more visual, you can do the open eye. If you're more auditory, you can listen to certain music, you can listen to frequencies, or you can listen to someone, a guided meditation or affirmations, but it's just like you're listening more than anything. Yeah. But the point is that you're trying to get into your sensations. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even if you want to touch something for real, just to even really get into what it is that you're examining. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's the point, is to really be here with what it is. And so anything that helps you become present, because that's just where I tell you, we talked about something before too, where it's like little daily habits that don't bother me, like washing the dishes and like laundry and like little things like that people are just rather not do, but I started off with those little things. Like I would just be present with just the dishes. Just being intentional. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, let me wash these dishes. Let me wash these clothes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the truth is we're being ungrateful.
You're right.
You're right. That's why she's here, to call you out.
Honestly, they invited me. I didn't just walk up in here, but no, ultimately, and that's the truth that I live by, because it's just like, I can paint it any other way, but that's the truth. We're ungrateful.
Yeah. And I'm not disagreeing with you whatsoever.
That's good. Has there ever been a point in your meditation journey where you are experiencing maybe a psychedelic state just through meditation?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And how does that work, and how does that feel? Because I've heard people talk about that, but I've never experienced it, and they can't explain it that well.
I'm trying to think. Mm-hmm. There's been many different times, so I feel like each time is a little different.
But it is possible.
Definitely. I just feel like everyone's kind of different, you know? So I'm just trying to think, because there's times where I've meditated before, and a lot of things are auditory, so I hear more than anything. So messages come to me, whether it's just like for me to do something or whether it's just topics for me to speak on. But I've just gotten to a point where my mind is pretty silent. So when other things do come in, I am able to just be like, okay, like obviously it wasn't me because I'm just here. So that's some insights that I get. So, but if you want like did you say psychedelic level as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so even for the psychedelic level, I actually have meditated on shrooms.
Girl, you're scaring me. I don't want to be that deep in my head.
Don't be scared. Dude, your mind is not a scary place.
It's not.
Do you want to hear something real crazy?
I was freaking myself out the other night. Don't even.
Do you want to hear something real crazy?
Yes.
What?
Before we even get to his thing. So everyone is in their mind, right? And then they live in their mind. And then a lot of people give me that reaction. I'm scared to be in my mind. I don't want to be with my mind. Don't want to be with myself. But the reason why we live in our mind is because our body is even more dangerous. And that's why a lot of us are disembodied.
Your mind is more dangerous because it could create a world for you.
What do you mean? What do you mean your body is dangerous? What do you mean by that?
That's where all the trauma is.
Store that.
Yeah.
Is that what you told me?
Yeah, what do you think about that? Is there a structure to taking psychedelics?
Yeah, usually there is. And so it really just depends on how you're going about it, because there is some people who do just like to do big dosages, but many people are on different parts of their journey as well. So I feel like that also just adds a big thing to it as well. But when it comes to the micro dosing, that's when there is more of a structure, and you can do like 2 days on, 2 days off, or you can do like every other day. But it's pretty much just getting your body like into that rhythm. Right. You know what I mean? Because it's really just opening you up more, and it's opening up your senses more, you know, just allowing you to be more free. It's kind of like bypassing your mind, you know? And so that's what you're ultimately just kind of welcoming in. And it's not technically like a bad thing, it's just better to move with the structure, you know what I mean? Just because like everything is a tool, so you just want to remember that it is like a tool, you know. Ultimately a lot of things are just here to open you up to stuff, and then once you're open to it, that's where you use your discernment to be like, this is for me, this is not for me, this is where I stay, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people with their things with shrooms, I feel, is they want insight, they want more crazy experiences to just show that there's more to this 3D world. But you can see that without the shrooms. You're just not focusing, you're not looking, you're closing it off because you feel like you need it, you know?
Right. That all makes so much sense. So
because what ultimately the shrooms is gonna do, it's just gonna open you just to that.
It's
you
gonna,
know what I mean?
like you said, it's a tool, so it's gonna aid you. It's gonna give you that extra push to be like, oh wait, I can think like this. I can see this. I can feel this.
But that's just where.
But let me just help you do it. Basically.
Yeah, and that's just where sometimes it is dangerous, only because that's just where like people aren't careful for what they ask for, and you're given too much. You're given more than you asked, and so that's where people have to understand in the spiritual journey. It's literally a progress because you're healing trauma. You're loving where you used to hate yourself. You know what I mean? You're not ready to take it all in one day. You're not ready to remember and feel that all in one day. So for you to put yourself in that position and just like, then you're feeling it and you can't, now you just gotta surrender to it. Like it's more damage than help, for real. Because that's just overexposure. Overexposure is a topic of its own.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens pretty often, right? Someone's just taking 5 grams and not.
Because you got to think about it. Overexposure in many ways. Just too much exposure to a person too early, no matter what it is bad. It
could be anything. Yeah,
anything.
Imagine
literally.
What environment you're in if somebody's like, "Hey, take these 5 grams." Bro.
No, for real. Just to ultimately,
It's gonna be awesome, bro. We're gonna trip out together. It's gonna be awesome.
just to ultimately kind of get that sense of ascending, But that's the thing with me, and my spiritual path is, I feel like many people are really just, like, they're trying too hard to ascend. They're too infatuated with ascending. And that's where people need to ground more, because we're always intaking information. So
all the time.
Yeah, so that's where it's like the more you ground yourself, the more information you can receive. If you're not really grounding yourself, all these information is going to come to you, but you're going to feel clouded. You're going to feel confused. You're going to have all these
I don't read a lot, because I don't want that information.
Yeah.
It's too much at one time.
It's
I
too
can't
much.
handle.
Overstimulating.
No, it'd be like that. But
that all makes so much sense, though. And I'm so glad you're here, because we can talk about this stuff. And I think we only understand each other because we're brother and sister and we know each other.
Yeah.
But if you were to hear us talk behind closed door, you'd be like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because we can't lay it out the same way you can lay it out.
You're able to crystallize it with words.
So specific. So we're
so
glad
even just going back to your question with the whole psychedelic stuff, when I started meditating on shrooms, honestly, I was just telling Sin that before my spiritual journey, I really wasn't even open to shrooms. Like, I didn't look at shrooms like that.
A question that I had was, because I feel like you're spiritual, right? But then, like, you also believe in God.
Yeah.
And you think that, I feel like you do think, because you do it, you can have a relationship with... Oh, there you go.
No, I just had to throw that in there real quick.
A relationship with both, because I feel like religions, or at least like the religions I grew up in and have been exposed to, it's like you're either one or the other.
Sorry.
What? Go ahead.
Oh, I feel like this is deja vu.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Right place, right time.
No,
right
seriously,
place, right time,
no,
yeah.
for real.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, right place, right time.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound so silly, but like, obviously we grew up super religious, but have you seen the movie Interstellar?
Yeah, I feel like I have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That movie literally like changed my life. And I just saw it, a few months ago?
I feel like I haven't watched it in a while, so you might have to refresh me.
It's the one where they go to space. It's Matthew McConaughey. And then at the very end, he ends up traveling dimensions and going back in time through a bookshelf.
I remember some parts of it.
And he's like giving science to his daughter from where he's at, right? And like seeing that movie, I was like, this has to be real.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't believe that you can believe in both.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on that, if you could answer?
Yeah.
If you have like a...
I say that it's just deja vu, because I'm trying to tell you, God was telling me the other day that you go and speak on this, and I literally started crying, because I was like, why the fuck do you want me to speak on this? And now they're asking me the question.
Here.
I know. I'm like, what am I?
That's crazy. Okay.
Okay, you've been here before. So
period.
We've already done this. That's what I'm saying. We've already been here.
Because I want to say it in the most like easiest understandable way, and I feel like that's just to kind of quickly summarize my journey,
right? Which is fine, yeah.
Because that to me, that's why I am here today, is because this is my life, and I just move in that sense of like what is right for me. And so I respect everyone, like you got your own path, you know what I mean? So I can only imagine like what your lessons are to learn here, you know what I mean? And what your obstacles are really to overcome and like surpass in that sense. So personally, I grew up as a Christian, and I used to go to church with my grandma and stuff like that. And then we moved out here, and we found a church, and we go to People's Church, and we've been going there for a while. And so so it's like I've always had God in my life.
Right.
And my senior year is when I got baptized, and so I received Jesus in my heart and everything. But honestly, I got baptized my senior year, and then my junior year is when I got introduced to meditation. And so even with me not doing meditation on a everyday scale, it was benefiting me. Like it just was it was making me more present, calming me down a little bit more, you know? And so it was really just even connecting, just building the connection with myself even more. My connection with God was there, especially just receiving Jesus, you know? And so honestly, when I did receive Jesus in my heart, and then I was involved in church always, volunteering, doing things for people. But I felt myself outgrowing. I felt people just like, you're Christian? What? When I tell you everyone was surprised I believe in God, even like at school, they were like, what? You go to church?
Well, yeah, I mean, even when we first met, like I met you more like, I feel like on the spiritual side than the God side. I don't think we ever, but we spoke about that later when I told you like where I came from.
I'm telling you,
but
it's really don't.
When you told me like, oh yeah, church and this, and I was like, oh, you can do both? Like, what do you mean?
It's so funny because even when I'm around people that are more Christian, like Jesus, I'll talk to them like, you would think I go to church to this day.
This front and back,
but yeah,
for sure, yeah.
And so like with me feeling like I'm outgrowing the church and everything like that, and then too like I do cuss a lot, and so that's just where people was just like, I just wasn't the Christian image, you know,
right?
And I didn't care to fit into a certain image. I just didn't like
I feel like you shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
that's another.
And that was just my judgment, you know. And so that's why when everyone would just be so surprised, I'm like, I don't know why the fuck you so surprised.
What the fuck?
No, yeah, for real. And but honestly, so me receiving Jesus my senior year, me feeling like I was outgrowing the church, I really felt like Jesus was just like, girl. So I'm the type of person that I go places and I take what applies to me, and I leave the rest.
Okay.
So all my years in church, accepting Jesus in my heart, I'm listening to Jesus now. Jesus was like, girl, go in the world. Like, don't wait for people to come to church and find me. There's so many people. Right. You know what I mean? Go touch them. That's what I'm saying. I'm his hands and feet. Like, people just don't know. People go to church, they read the Bible, they believe in him. I know Jesus. Like, I know God. For real, for real. Me and him are like this. You know what I mean? Like, that's my homie. I'm not playing. But so me having him in my heart, he really taught me how to love. He really taught me the forgiveness and just giving, like laying everything and giving him everything. You know what I mean? And so I'm very grateful to that. Me stepping out of the church is not taking away from my experience. It's not taking away from those parts of my life. This is me, my journey, my human evolution. This is me following God's voice, the discernment. And this is why I can talk to anybody, and it doesn't matter what you believe, because I believe that there is many paths. Our purpose is to make it to him. If we have the free will, he's everywhere. You can go to a fucking mosque, you can go to church, you can go to a homeless place, and like people will be there being his hands and feet. God is everywhere.
I feel
you know
like
what I mean?
People in religions get so stuck on religions where it's like, even though there's different religions, at the end of the day, they all believe in a God.
Yeah, that's the whole conditioning that I see about it, because it's like, oh, if I'm not praising your God, you think I'm praising your devil. I'm not doing
that. I'm right there, girlfriend, because we do that, huh, Diego?
Yeah.
I swear.
Oh, man.
No.
I mean, you know, but we don't really like to talk too much shit.
So what I've learned through my personal journey, honestly, what I really love that allows me to be free and authentic is the whole many paths, and is the fact that we are all God's child. So if you're God's child, and if you know that you're God's child, you gonna recognize God's child. And everybody that knows God gonna recognize him in me. And so that's why, to me, it's like people can be like, oh, you can't believe in both, or like you can't believe in Jesus and like not live by the Bible. I know him better than you do. Right. He loved me. He forgave me. Like, you worried about the extra shit.
Because if he's so forgiveful, then why are you on his side and I can't be on his side?
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, like, just going back to the many paths, even when I'm conversing with people, I'm not attached to words. I'm not listening to words.
You're not listening to me? I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm listeing. I'm listening.
I'm hearing everything you're telling me.
The energy is crazy. But yeah, that's just where it's like, when I'm speaking, I know what I mean. So if people misinterpret me, sucks to suck.
Girl, that's why we are on the same page. When we talk and I'm like, this is what I said. Was I wrong? And she's like, no, they just didn't understand. And I'm like, there you go. You just weren't ready to hear what you asked for.
Yeah, small minds can't comprehend.
Exactly. It's okay. Don't come for me if you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Period.
That's it.
Or if you don't like it, for real. That's cool.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, and that's just my thing. Like, I'm just the type of person to where it's like, I know what I'm saying and I'm not the type to explain myself. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You don't have to.
You don't,
Literally don't
you
have
don't
to.
need
No.
to. You just
Truly.
said what you needed to say. So why am I
Yeah.
going to say it again?
And those who get me.
Yeah.
And those are my people. Yeah.
And
Those,
that's why we're here today.
that's what
girl.
I'm saying. You know, it's easy, man.
Yeah.
This is how it feels when you don't force shit for real.
So, okay, let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we met. Do you remember when we first met?
Of course.
Okay, tell me, because I remember. All right, let me see if you're
Damn,
wrong or
are you
not.
testing me?
I
This
am.
is a
I
live
am.
test.
Stop.
Let's
I
see.
met you at Kahea's birthday party.
You did.
See,
You
don't
did.
test
Okay,
me.
okay. That was
A few years ago?
2.5, almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
year we'll make it 3.
Yeah, I remember Damon's like, yeah, my cousins are going to be there. And I'm like, what cousins? Because, you know,
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
met, like, much of his family.
Yeah.
Other than, like, his sisters and his brother.
You're like, I've been dating you how many, all these years?
Yeah. And then that was when I first met Kalei, too.
Yeah, me and my brothers.
Yeah. Was Kaleo there? I don't remember.
I think so.
And then I was like, obviously nervous. But then I met you guys and immediately I was like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Literally.
And then after that, I feel like we just
Clicked.
literally,
Yeah.
did we talk? I don't know if we talked that much that day, but I just
really.
remember like immediately after that, I think
We
hung
hung
out
out.
at your house.
Yeah.
And then
we was
after
chilling.
that, it was just like, oh, okay, I can hang out here.
No, for real,
Yeah.
because we was already talking about books and everything first conversation.
Yeah. And like religion and
Yeah.
spiritual, everything. It was just like so quick, so fast.
It's honestly surprising too, like just learning about you guys really coming from a Jehovah family. You know what I mean? I've really never been around Jehovah people like my life. For
Are we
real, for
normal?
real.
I'm just kidding. We're not
What do you think
normal.
about
Let me
it
say
from the
that.
outside?
But
Honestly, well, I feel like I haven't really gotten the full taste for real because you like, in a sense too, when I first came across her, she was kind of already like outside, you know? And so even when she's sharing information with me, it's kind of like past information, you know? But it's honestly my first intake, my first insight
Yeah.
into it,
Yeah.
period.
You never met anyone
she
else?
said
that-
no. She said she like heard of it, but she never
Yeah.
knew anyone that was actually.
And
in
I
it.
knew, I did like know people at school who were that religion, but like I wasn't close to them.
Yeah.
Like, so even I wasn't close enough to even like ask questions or anything.
Pop in your
So
hands so you can see
even
you.
like when she,
There you go.
even when she was just telling me that, so that's why like I was just really listening because I didn't know what you guys didn't do, what you guys accepted, what you guys believed in for
Yeah.
real. You know what I mean? So it's really just new to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
If someone was looking for a way to start their spiritual path, how do you think, not that they should, but what are possible options that they could take with, like, maybe a book or...
Maybe this is for someone who's just like trying to be more aware,
You know,
right?
Yeah.
Of like their feelings and what they're doing and their intentions and like stuff like that. Would you literally just say like, be aware, like be present?
So
Because it's hard.
no, definitely.
To
And
do.
it's crazy because with how far I am in my journey, I feel like I've been able to kind of see like a few different answers like rise up for me, you know, when people ask that. But it's crazy though, because where I am now, it's really, I see everyone on their spiritual journey and they're just not knowing, you know?
Right. Because, I mean, I feel like you can read people very well. Like, not in the
Yes.
sense of, like, know their whole life story.
Yeah.
But, like, get the
No.
vibe that they're showing and the energy that they're coming off of. Is it, like, weak? Is it strong?
Yeah.
Are they struggling? You can
I'm
see
able-
right through
yes.
the
Yeah.
masks that they have on.
Yeah, and I just say that a lot of people are on their spiritual journey already because I know that's the whole point of the conditioning that we're put under. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's a big reason why the world is the way that it is. Like, this is why we are conditioned the way that we are, because it is our limitless potential that scares
And-
the fuck out of us.
Right. Because, like, life isn't
Yeah.
easy, you know? what I
And
mean?
it's also our limitless potential that worries the government, for real. And
that's why they're
everything.
shutting down TikTok.
Yeah. No. Facts.
Literally.
And so like I know that we just have closed ourselves off, you know, like I know that we have just detached and really have just came a long way just to where, like I said,
What do you mean by conditioning?
Cut that out.
conditioned in the sense where
conditioned.
the government controls us to keep us in fear. So that's what they're
They want us to follow the
intentionally
rules.
doing, you know, because a lot of people are just like they think that it's just conspiracy theories or all that, but it's like, no, to seek into your subconscious and just make you fear certain things, little things that you're not going to make next month's rent, that there might be a war this year, you know what I mean? And
this is going to sound so ignorant, but that's why I don't watch the news.
No,
because
that's
I'm
what
not
it is.
trying to worry about something that has not happened.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to worry about something that like is literally out of my own control.
Exactly.
Right? Like I don't want to worry about the what if. It's like today.
And so that's what I
doing
mean
today?
by conditioning, is because they know that media has a message. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so as long as they're putting a fear-based energetic output, the people energetically will feel the fear. It keeps you in fear. And so they don't necessarily need you to be like, oh, I'm scared. They're keeping you in these lower vibrations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
they want everyone to just be at the same level.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just what I mean by conditioning for real. And so because we're in fear, because we're in these lower energies, that's where it's hard for us to be in our higher energies or in our true expression, because we're more protecting than really feeling free to express. You know what I mean?
They don't want us to be aware.
Yeah.
They don't want us to be awake and see the bigger picture.
Yeah. And
all.
just be you for real. Because that's just where the power is. You know what I mean? Instead of masking, like, you're actually being you, and the power of your authenticity is crazy. Yeah. And they ultimately know that, you know? And
they have
so
control. Yeah,
and that's so even knowing certain things, and even now connecting with my angels and like people that have passed on and stuff, I just feel like I can just see it. It's more clear to me now how ultimately a lot of us think that like, oh, like I just thought of this or I just thought of this, but ultimately like we're really guided. Like,
this is another thing because of that movie Interstellar, right? In the movie he gets trapped in a dimension. He's giving his daughter signs. Okay. So I'm like, okay, thoughts, right? Like I've told him this before, like, oh, when I have a thought, like, is that actually my thought, or is that someone like sprinkling something over me and like, here, think of this? It's just like,
so that's how I see it. Because especially like with our chakras, so our crown chakra is at the top of our head, and so our chakra is the energy center of knowing, the energy center of understanding, and just your connection with a higher source. So if your energy center is open and balanced to where you just know that you're connected with a higher source, you open yourself up to information. That's where you're not saying like, oh, I'm gonna pray but God never hears me. You know what I mean? Like, you already saying God never hears me. You're not opening.
You're putting that.
You're closing your ears. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not gonna leave the roof because you're already saying that.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're not even waiting for a response. You're gonna pray and leave because God ain't talking to you.
So
you know
he's
what I mean?
literally just going, boop.
Exactly.
Let me prove you right real quick.
Exactly.
So you can learn a lesson.
And so it's like, and that's how we are in our way and close ourselves off. So if you even just wait for a response, you know what I mean? And just like really know that. And so, even when people, I love the saying when people be like, oh, great minds think alike. And I always say great minds think alike because a greater mind is thinking through them. Because ultimately...
Diego's going to write all these down and put them on his
these
wall.
Are good.
No, honestly, I love that you have these postcards because I am a quote freak.
Yeah.
I save every quote that I come across.
No, what?
We'll set my favorite one that I've sent him that I heard another girl say is nothing changes if nothing changes.
Period.
And it's so simple.
And if you ain't changing it, you choosing it. Okay.
So that mistake you made wasn't a mistake because you chose to do that.
It's a pattern.
Had sequels. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
No,
so
for
you
real.
heard it here.
I really do love.
That's a good one.
Dude, I'm trying to tell y'all, I live by quotes for real, for real.
Girl, she's trying to do something to me over here.
I also, because now I'm gonna share. I have a freaking quote that I got tatted when I was 18, and
what's it say?
And this is why I'm trying to tell people, like, in high school, I felt like this. I've moved like this
for a minute. Yeah.
And so this is where I've always been intentional with the way I do things, you know.
Yeah.
And I say that because people are usually in high school getting dumbass tattoos. Sorry, guys. But
I got mine at, how old was I?
They stupid though. Is it
No,
stupid?
it's so little too. You can't even see it on camera probably.
I got mine in
But
Vegas.
it means
Really?
you're announcing.
get?
You're announcing
Oh
your tattoos.
yeah, I forgot. I didn't even think of it like
Ah!
that.
That's just a little
It's just a
smiley
little
face.
I love
smiley face
that.
and a
Why'd you get that?
sad. It was just in Vegas. They were the only option that I thought was cool. Everything else.
It was like
No,
yeah,
it was like the
like
$10
a little.
one. Yeah,
they had
yeah.
like a sheet, you know,
Yeah.
like.
What
a
does
little
yours
sheet.
mean?
So I have 2 little animals right here. It's like the outline. It's a
Yeah.
shark and a dolphin.
Yeah.
My sister's favorite animal is a shark, and my mom's favorite animal is a dolphin.
I love that.
And then my goal was just to like keep adding like another one here, and then do like 3 more over here for
Yeah.
like the rest of my family. Haven't gotten to it.
Okay.
But that's like just something small and simple. I wanted to be
Nice.
rebellious. I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo.
Dude, that was
And I love it.
definitely me.
And I do. And okay, we're like all over the place on this one, but I'm sorry. It's just like we're going with the flow. Your tattoos,
Yeah.
you have many.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. I just want to talk about my quote.
You don't.
No, I'm
That's
just
fine.
kidding.
No, that's fine. If you don't,
no,
you don't.
I'm just talking. I'm just talking shit. What would you like to?
No, I just wanted to know, like, what's your feeling on like tattoos? Like, is there just like, should they have a special meaning, or is it just like get what you want to get? I mean, everyone's different, obviously.
Yeah,
but, like,
everyone is different. Your body definitely is your body. I
Yeah.
just feel like tattoos is not
like
like a
for,
t-shirt.
I
You
guess my
shouldn't
question
have
is like,
Mm.
the ones that you have, like, did you feel like, oh yeah, I want to get this, like I feel called to it, or were you
yeah,
just, like, in
you
the
know,
moment?
God loves me. I'm trying to tell y'all. So
Yeah, he doesn't care if you have a marking on your body, okay?
he really don't.
At the
I'm
end of the day, it ain't that serious,
I'm
right?
trying to tell y'all, I'm one of God's favorite, for real.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
You are too. You just gotta acknowledge it.
You gotta
right.
accept it.
Yeah.
You just gotta accept that he actually cares about you. You don't have to be perfect because nobody
It's crazy
is
because once you
perfect.
do that, you won't feel abandoned.
She's just dropping mics left and right.
I'm about to
She
start
did not.
crying.
I know. She did not come to play. I know. Earlier she was talking. I was like, hold it in, hold it in. This is not the time.
Yo, no, you're funny as fuck.
We're gonna have to do like another a part 2 or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is too much.
So, I just say God loves me because, so all my tattoos do have a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really just blessed that majority of my tattoos, I want to say maybe like 3
Do you have?
of them.
Sorry. Do you have more than just on your arms? Because I feel like I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have on my arms. I have my back.
yeah, I've
have
seen
my
that in
lip.
pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Your lip. Girl.
Yeah, I do. So I do have a lip tattoo. Yeah, it does say "bite me." I got that.
In high school.
Yeah, literally. But my they all have a meaning. But I'm really just blessed that all my tattoos, besides maybe 3 of them, my brothers did. You know, so
Oh,
Chemo used to
cool.
tattoo,
Yeah.
and so Chemo did majority of my tattoos.
That's special.
Calais practices a little bit, and he's
Mhm.
probably done like I think 3 of my tattoos recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly just love that like they did it, and like I have their
That-
Keep
energy.
talking. I'm gonna
Alright.
change the battery.
That we could just pause it.
No, just keep talking.
Okay.
No,
I feel like that already has so much meaning because it wasn't just like some random person in a tattoo parlor. It was your brothers.
yeah,
So even if, I don't know, for some reason later on, you're like, you changed your mind, it was like still someone that you loved and cared for did that for you. And it's like a memory, right? It's like a
exactly.
picture, but permanent. Like you can see it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, like when I did get it, it didn't dawn on me like that, like at the time. You know what I mean? Like my brother was just doing tattoos and I just wanted them, and I was blessed that he was able to do them for real. But then now over time, and then like everywhere I go, and like because people ask me, you know, like about my tattoos or like where I got it done, and then that's when I'm just like, oh, my brother did them, then I'm like, dang. Like,
So you probably get asked all the time. That's why you're like, don't fucking ask me again.
yeah, you know what's too funny is that I do get asked sometimes out here, and when I go back home to visit in Guam, well, when I first went back in 2016, and I had most of my work done, I was just like, dude, I can go home. Like, no one will say anything about my tattoos because everyone has tribal tattoos out there. When I tell you it was the total opposite.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah.
because if you're not in it, you shouldn't have it, which
Yeah.
is another subject.
Yeah, so I was just
but-
like, it's gonna be more of the norm. It won't be like really sticking out. You know what I mean?
But people
hell
don't,
no.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but me being on Guam where everyone was there, because everyone really knows it, they're like, "Where'd
Yeah.
you get it done?" Where I was like, "Oh my god, I thought I was gonna be good out here
Undercover?
I'm not- yeah, no, for real. But back to my freaking quote. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Wait, you have another one, girl?
No,
No,
just
tell
the.
us,
I might
just
shed a
the
tear.
one.
No, I'm like, this is the quote
Sorry,
that
I
I.
just keep looking because from here, all I can see is my white shirt. That's all.
Oh
I see.
no, you're
You're
fine. We
good.
see all of us.
I'm blind. Are you in it?
No,
I
I'm in
flipped
it.
it.
Oh, it's on the other
It's
side.
flipped. You're good.
Okay.
But the quote that I've been freaking lived by is don't strive to make your presence noticed, make your absence felt.
And I feel like that's so true because people always say, I don't know if it's like people or just like in the Mexican culture, but it's like, don't give them flowers when they're gone.
Yeah, give them water here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you say it one more time? You said.
Yeah, don't strive to make your presence noticed, to make your absence felt. And that has always been my thing because I'm not really one that's like, oh, look at me.
But when I'm gone, you will notice that I'm gone. And
even
that is
if I
why,
was just in the corner, you'd be like, where'd that girl that was in the corner?
exactly.
You
That's
know?
why like friendships or relationships or something like that, when it ends and you're gone, they really notice you're gone.
Yeah.
Because it's so quiet when you're not there. And it's like, girl, I've been here all along. You just weren't paying attention.
Truly. And
So,
you can be in a
it's
room
a
full
little
of
too
people,
late.
but none of them is me, for real. It's different energy.
girl, that's why I
It's
walk
different.
around like, if you don't want to be my friend, cool.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be around me, cool. Because
because that's
you're
we're
never
talking
gonna
about
be-
quotes.
you're never going to be a person's cup of tea. I
Period.
told him in a couple episodes, girl, chill. I'm trying to talk too fast. A couple episodes ago, I said, I found a fact that said 1 in 10 people are going to hate you just to hate you.
Period.
1 in 10. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're in a grocery store and if you just see 10 people off the bat, one of them don't like you already.
Yeah.
So you're never going to please anybody and everybody. So if they notice that you're not there, it's a little too late.
Yeah. Because even to me, like the quote, like no one is you and that is your power. No one
Literally.
is you.
No one.
Even if they try.
Not one person
Yeah.
is the same.
Exactly.
Ever.
Now, with that, what do you think about advice? Because I feel like advice is a very common thing that whether you're spiritual or not spiritual, everybody gives each other, from parent to son to whatever, coworker to coworker. In terms of advice about life, what do you think about that? Because sometimes me personally, I'm like, I don't want to listen to anybody.
Don't listen to anybody you don't want to
It'll
live like.
just resonate with
That you
you.
don't want to look like.
You don't want to live like.
It'll
at
just
least,
resonate with you. And I think that's why, like, you find your people. Right? Like, me and Kahea get along so well. I mean, we've been friends, family for almost 3 years, and we've never had a single ounce of, I mean, at least on my
Anything.
end, I don't know.
No, yeah. No.
Like, there's never been a question, never been like, nothing.
Yeah.
It's just because you will find those people that, like, you connect with and you resonate with, and you don't have to question it. So when they give you advice, you're just listening and you're taking it in. But if you meet someone at work or at school or wherever it may be, and they're telling you, and they're trying to give you some advice and you don't relate, it's because those are not your people. You guys are not on the same path. You guys don't resonate. You guys don't have the same beliefs. It's
I
like,
also love to use my discernment in those moments because it helps me read people.
What do you mean your discernment?
yeah, what is that?
So your discernment is just your inner knowing. It's your judgment. You know what I mean?
Your gut feeling.
Yeah, in a sense, because that's just where it's your inner knowing in the sense of you trust yourself. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't trust themselves.
Exactly.
No, and if they do have that gut feeling, they always just scurry away from it.
Exactly, and that's why a lot of people even ask for advice a lot
Because they already know the answer. They just want to hear it from someone else.
Yeah, and two, they just it's just constant, like not ready to receive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna constantly seek, but you're just hoping for a different answer.
You're hoping to hear what you want to hear.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do you feel like? I feel like we've talked about this a lot, where like we've had people in our lives where they come to us for advice, and it's like a repeat. We tell them, and then we are just
don't
tired
ask
of
me
it.
this. No, I only say don't ask me this because this is where I feel like
It's just like kind of cutthroat.
Say it, say
I
it,
didn't
say
even
it,
finish the
say it.
question. I didn't even finish the question.
no,
Wait,
because
am I thing on? Okay.
I'm
I didn't finish the
saying that-
question. I rewind.
yes,
When people come to you for advice, right?
yes,
You tell them, you repeat, and then you're like, at the end of the day, you're like, I've told you so many times, you're obviously not hearing me, or you're not listening to me, or whatever it may be, but I cannot do this for myself because it's draining. Like, you're draining me. I got to cut it off.
okay.
Are we the bad people for cutting them off? Are we like helping them?
Yeah, you just
Are
took
we
this
helping
question on a
us?
whole on a different route, so I love that. Because it's not a completely different route, but it's just different when you say that the people are draining you. Because if it's to a certain extent to where someone is draining you, then ultimately,
But are we being selfish?
no. And so that's where I'm saying to where it's like when it comes to the point that the person is draining you, now it's your responsibility to remove yourself. Like
Right.
you can be like, oh my God, this person keeps coming to me,
I know,
and
but
I'm
then
tired
people
of.
say we're being bitchy.
People
or
say
we're
a lot of
just-
shit.
Right.
You know this.
I know. But like, you know, you just like, I mean,
That's where it's your inner knowing. You
Yeah.
know why you're doing what
see,
you're
we're all
doing.
learning today. Okay, we're all learning
And that's
today.
where if we know that people can't comprehend us in other areas, why would we question it in this area?
Yeah.
People gonna speak. People not ready to receive shit.
Yeah, so don't
And,
ask me something you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Shit.
But also too,
Me asking you right now and I don't want to know.
also too, I really feel like it's a big testament for the other person's journey. And that's where I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. And so that's where I'm saying, like, this position, being here for people, even multiple times where it's like, damn, I'm repeating myself, has really been the ultimate test of, like, what love is. What, like, everything we go to church or religion about, you know, the forgiveness, the compassion, the empathy. That's what I'm giving these people.
Right.
So that's why I even tell people, like, for me to be here, if it was like Kahea for real, I wouldn't be here.
Not
Kahea
Nspyr,
will
girl.
be
Kahea
in
is
home.
gone.
I will be at home watching
Yeah.
Netflix or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I probably might be meditating.
Yeah, I was gonna say meditating.
Yeah, but that's why Nspyr just puts me in that position. So it's like I am love. I am holding the space. You know what I mean? And so it's different because sometimes I can, well, like at least before I would hear Kahea just get frustrated, get irritated, and be like, dude, people, come on, fucking get it.
I know.
Yeah, but that's where I was just like, wow, they're really putting me in position to be patient.
See,
To not be judgmental.
yeah, some
To
people,
be accepting of where they are in their journey, even if I agree or not. Because it's not mine. You know what I mean?
exactly. Like you're asking me for the help.
Yeah. But ultimately, I just know when people, you got to understand too, everyone is going to ask, a hit dog gonna holler. You know? For real, for real. So when people
they're
feel
hurt,
helpless,
they're looking for help.
when people feel helpless, they can't help themselves.
Right, but like that's where like you have to draw the line. Like when are you just like I'm done helping you?
That's
I mean,
just where you
but
have
that's
to.
gonna be like a different
you
answer for everybody.
Yeah, because ultimately too, you have to think about it. And I say that it's also sometimes it's for you and a testament to your journey because we treat people how we treat ourselves. So if you cannot hold space for others, I can only imagine the space you're holding for yourself. Probably
Yeah.
barely any.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like for me, people will like to say that I'm not a nice person. But and if you agree with that,
what do you think?
No, I think she's a great person.
if you agree with that, then that means that like I've had so much patience for you where I just was like, I'm fucking done, and then you didn't like when I said that. So that is not my problem.
Yeah.
Like I gave you so much time and space and energy, and you just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I think that I'm a very patient person. Like,
Yeah.
truly. And I've always felt like that.
Yeah.
And to me, like it takes so much to make me like either like mad or want to like not talk to you or whatever the case may be, but like it took so long to get me there. But I feel like they don't see that because I've been good this whole time,
Yeah.
and then I'm just like done.
Yeah.
So they're like, where did this come from? And it's like, no, you asked me time after time after time after time.
Yeah.
And then finally I drew the line and I was like, I'm done, and you don't like it, so now I'm a mean person. So it's like I'm not really mean.
Yeah.
You just
Wasn't
used up all the battery that you had with me,
Yeah.
and people don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm done, girl, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely a story of my life as well.
And so a lot of people, and that's why they think I'm mean, because it's like, oh, she's
Yeah.
done.
You don't care.
You don't care.
Yeah. I just love that because to me that's just really goes back to like your journey, your knowing. And I be telling people all the time, like, you know why you do what you do.
Exactly.
And like so ultimately too, if it's just for the betterment of yourself, that's where it's just like leave people where they're at, for real. And I have left people where they're at,
but it's
for
hard
real,
though.
real. No, it ain't.
Would you say I was gonna say it's hard. Well, I'm like, I care about people. I'm just like, I truly feel bad like when I'm like if I'm like I can't be your friend anymore. Because then I think at the back of my head, like, okay, well, if I'm not there and they came to me this whole time, like, who's going to be there for them? You know, it's more like of a guilt thing, which
that's one of those make your absence felt.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like when it's done, and then they feel sorry, and it's like, well, sorry, it's just too late now.
Yeah. And that's, so to me, ultimately, I don't feel bad about it because I know that just because it's really just love from afar. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it at that level. And so that's just where I'm saying that, like, I don't feel bad because people are going to process and experience life from where they're at.
Yeah.
I have a deeper understanding. Yeah. I have a deeper experience of unconditional love. Right. So I know what I'm doing is ultimately loving you from afar. And I'm not going to let you take me down with you. And you can think that I abandoned you. You can think I'm not a good friend. You can think all that. Go ahead.
But I was there for you when you needed me.
Yeah, and that's just where it's like, I'm going to let you tell it. And you weren't
listening to me when you needed me. So it's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Just tag along with you the whole time or what?
That's just where we have to look at everyone on their journey. So if these people need to learn better, like how to handle friendships, learn that.
Yeah, I think that's where I question myself, like, dang, should I have like been a friend a little longer? Yeah. But then it's like, how long would it be?
Yeah, no, I'm like, Cynthia. Well, I'm like a big life lesson of mine. No, because a big life lesson of mine, honestly, was I say a big life lesson just because it was ultimately one of my first lessons. And she was, me and her were friends for many years. But long story short, we pretty much ended up growing each other. But even, it was an argument that did separate us. But even before that argument, like, there really was no bad blood. But ultimately, I felt like we did recognize that we were growing apart. But it was just like, why separate? There's no issue. Like, an accident didn't happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, like, an argument did happen. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like the argument really showed us, like, yo, you guys, you know, that's all it was. Like, it was just a friendship for this many years. But she was my biggest lesson in the sense of, I knew for many years, like, towards the end, that, like, we're just different people. We don't see things, the same way. We don't go about things the same way. But that's where, to me, I'm like, this is my best friend. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then when we did outgrow each other and we weren't in each other's life, that's when just so many more things started rushing in that aligned with me. And that's where I was like, dude, people really take up space. We're really a lot
of space. And this is what I try to tell him. Side note, he's on a little I love that. He's on a little like dating journey, you know. Props to him. He's young. He could girl, bro. Do you, bro. And I support you 100%. But at the same time, I'm like, don't let people take your energy. Like, if you go on a day and you're like, wasn't really sure, then just don't do it again. You don't have to do it again. It was a day. It doesn't need to be serious, you know, like. He's so young, right? I'm like older than him, so I've lived my 20s. And I'm like, not necessarily like, don't waste your time, because you can learn from everybody that you meet, everybody that you hang out with. You're going to learn something from everybody. Yeah. But don't feel like you meet one person, you're like, oh, like, they're kind of good. It's like, okay, but like, if you're not 100% with them, don't do it, because you have so much life to live. So many people to meet, so many like experiences.
Also, a lot of people don't know what they want.
A lot of people.
So that's where you don't want to settle in a sense to like.
Doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you're 20. It doesn't matter if you're 50. Period. People at 20 don't know what they want. People at 50 don't know what they want. Yeah. It's the person, what they lived, how they live,
and that's what I just want people to think about. Like, we just think about having fun or getting the most, so it's like we're just having fun and getting the most from anybody, right? These people, but like really living and getting the best out of life is doing it with people who you're really like
in tune,
with, you know, rather than just like meeting people. And I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's just where we just create things so fast. And that's
You're
just
like,
where...
It's like the butterflies, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you feel something. You're like, this is my person. But it's like, no, you just have a connection, right?
Yeah.
And you can have connections with lots of people. You can be friends with lots of people. But that doesn't mean that that's your person or that's the person you're going to be with. You can still keep them and have a relationship with them. It doesn't have to be anything else other than that, basically.
No, I think so too.
Yeah. And I mean, we're 1 year apart, right?
Yeah.
He's
22.
a lot younger than us. Don't mention.
How's life?
How's life?
Yeah. Okay, I feel like this whole time we've been going back and forth. And Diego was like,
I've just been listening. I like this conversation.
I know. So that's how I know. I want to hear your input on
this
some
is
things.
Me and Kahea's
I'm like,
every day. Well, not every day because we don't hang out every day. But every time we get together, this is like legit the conversation we have. You can look at the camera if you want. You don't have to. But
like y'all see me.
This is really just another conversation for us.
Literally.
This is stuff that we talk about every time we're together. Damon's always like chiming in, chiming out. Your brothers are always like in and out of our conversation. But this is just like.
But no, I'm so very curious in your journey too. Like just in taking like obviously just where you guys come from, and then just you know, getting to know you. And obviously you are on a little journey, you know, right now yourself, at least more intentionally. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so
the lane switch. She's interviewing you now.
Right? You like how I did that?
It was smooth.
It's our show, actually. This was our debut.
When I come, I take over. Okay. No, I'm just playing. But it's just really fascinating to me, honestly, because it's different. And I just feel like you're very, at least open, you know what I mean? And open in the sense to where you're discovering yourself and you're not hard on yourself. I feel like a lot of people are on the journey that you're on and don't know how to not shame themselves.
It's very hard not to.
Yeah.
It's very hard not to. I don't know if you could agree, like in the religion that we grew up in, where it's like you look the wrong way and you're in trouble. So it's like every little thing we do, we're constantly
and I feel like
questioning, like
in your
oh my God,
formal environment, you're probably like walking a thin ass line.
Yeah. For sure.
A rope line. Are you rope walking?
Like the line is this thin, and we're every day. Yeah.
So like, what is like? So how do you really feel like about life and like well, more in a sense of like stepping away from you know how you were raised and just like being more open to the information you're receiving now.
I think for me, that religion is just not for me, and I can see how that framework of religious practice can work for other people.
Yeah.
In my life, friends, family, or just strangers in general. Some people really need that framework, like that.
Structure.
This is where you show up. This is what you're going to do.
Keyword, structure.
Yeah, structure. But for me, I never really felt that connection in general in terms of like the structure and its strictness. It wasn't really, it didn't feel free. It felt like you're only allowed to learn this.
Yeah.
And then, so since I stopped going, I've just been doing a bunch of stuff, reading a bunch of stuff. Like this book, I talked to Jasmine about it. You know Ram Dass?
I love him.
This is his book.
Stop. I was a philosopher in my past life.
Yeah.
Stop. Wait, that's another subject. Hold on. Cynthia, take notes for us. We're going to have a producer, extra co-host. Literally, that's another subject to talk about, like past life. And
dude, I love Ram Dass
and Reborn
so
and all that.
much.
He's dead, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe so.
But back
sure
to
he's
you.
dead.
So how do you feel, Diego? Tell her.
But yeah, I've just been diving more into spirituality. And I think that's why I also wanted you to come on the podcast, because I know who you were, I know how you talked and what you liked and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, it just seems like if I wanted to find anyone interesting to talk to.
A good segue.
Yeah, about spirituality in a non-linear way, like I feel like you do.
Yeah.
You, because anyone else, and you should if you're a Christian.
Well, we don't really know anyone else, though.
We don't. But in my religion, if I were to talk to someone about whatever spirituality, they'd go to the book.
Okay.
Which is fine. But at the same time, I think, like, also, what about you?
You want
of course.
more personal connection.
Yeah,
right?
more personal connection.
Yeah.
And also, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't really trust themselves enough, so they are gonna give resources for sure.
Yeah, to me, it felt more like a school than a spiritual experience.
Yeah,
Like camp.
I love that you said that though, because I do tell people all the time that when I left the church, I gained my faith.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
I like, some people say like, okay, you don't have to be in the church to have a connection with God. And other people are like, you have to do this and this and this to have a connection with God. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, no one knows the actual.
That's the many paths,
Right?
You know, and that's
why,
where it's like
everyone has
on
a different Bible. Everyone follows a
journey.
different thing. Everything can say a whole separate thing. But like, if you believe in a God, it's just like, why do I have to conform to these rules and these and abide by these laws? And it's
because
like,
they keep you in duality, the wrong and right. That's the lens they keep you in.
That's one thing I'm gonna say, and I've told him, and I feel like you said the same thing. It's like, in the religion we grew up in, like, they have strict morals, and I'm thankful for that. Because
it builds your judgment.
How I could have grown up to be the way I am now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I only am the way I am now because I grew up in that. And I'm thankful for that because I feel like I did okay, right?
Yeah.
And same for him. And maybe if we didn't have that religion, we could have been somewhere else, completely different.
Likewise.
Statistically, I should be dead.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for that because
Yeah.
it did give me some like structure and self-respect and all of that. But it was also a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like coming from a Mexican household just added an extra layer of like thickness to it, because like being Mexican and being religious
and being a daughter
and being a daughter and being an eldest daughter.
I was gonna say eldest,
and it's just like, girl, life hit you before it needed to hit you. Life hit you when you were just lifing, okay? And so it was like, figure it out, like, literally by yourself. So it's a lot to deal with. But like I said, it made me to who I am today, in a sense of like, I respect myself. I respect my family. I have like priorities of like, take care of me, take care of my family, do what I need to do, because who knows where I could have been, you know, like my life path could have been like so different if I wasn't that. So I can't be so mad at it. But at the same time, it did take away, I feel like, a lot. That I could have learned or experienced,
for sure,
or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm almost 31 and I'm like just celebrating like a birthday, which seems like so small, but in the like big. I just had kids and now I'm like, oh, like I'm living for them through them, you know what I mean? But like I said, I could have been somewhere else. So I have to be thankful for where I came from, but at the same time, I'm like, dang,
your journey,
that was crazy.
It is crazy, but it's definitely your biggest resource, for real.
Biggest resource. And that's why I can't be mad at it. And that's why I tell him, like, we were who we were, but like, we learned from that and we're growing from that.
How has your like outlook on life, like, it changed in
I
any like a specific like way or just like, not only just fresh, but I feel like just to even like receive some like some of the information that you're doing. So obviously it's just like you're welcoming in more information, you know what I mean? Like, people can leave church and just like let life kind of bring them information as it comes, you know what I mean? And so they could possibly even be missing a lot of information, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they're just going to take it as they recognize it, as they are able to acknowledge it. But because you're actually like going a different route, it just leads you to more information. And so I'm just curious to know if like any of that new information has like inspired you for real, to where like it impacted just your view on life and how you feel about certain things.
Yeah, for sure. Just reading, I started off getting into meditation through Sam Harris. I don't know if you know who that is. He's like a psychologist, but has a meditation app. And so then he went and studied with a bunch of monks and meditated for years, and he created that, and that's how I got into it. Even while I was in church, that's what I was doing. I was meditating. And then after that, just watching podcasts, and then podcasts got bigger, so then more podcasts, and then books. And then from there, I've kind of just been following that rabbit hole. And then in terms of like if my outlook on life has changed, I would say it has, because it's less of like, this is the goal. Because in that religion, it's always like, last till this thing happens, till tribulation. Or
Armageddon.
The
last days.
For me, now it's more like, just be present here right now, like we've been talking about. Especially because now you really just think about, wow, we're all really going to die.
Mm-hmm.
We're all gonna not be here eventually.
Yeah.
And
Most
then
of us
some
are dead
people sooner
already.
than others. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop. Because I be disassociating sometimes and I'm like walking around
NPC.
like, am I fucking taking in the
playing.
trash cans right now or am I not?
Yeah.
I be freaking out. I'm like, Diego, what's going on?
Yeah.
No, literally.
I've been able to appreciate people's differences more. Like the things that used to make me mad, like for example, my mom.
Yeah.
I used to get so annoyed. I don't know why I used to get so annoyed.
I think it's just because she's a mom.
It's the reflection.
And she's a Mexican mom. She's religious. And she's also very, like, protective. Right? Like, she only wants the best for us and what she thinks is the best for us. And if we go a little bit outside the lines, then she gets worried.
Yeah.
But she... No shade on my mom, but she doesn't know how to like communicate that, and that's okay. Like trauma, right? We deal with it. Everyone deals with it in different ways, and she can't communicate that. And so there's been like a whole communication like difference between all of us with her, and it's hard to get that across to her. So when we, like you said, like that's been a big point. It's not that she doesn't care, or she doesn't love us. It's just that we're not on that same communication line to like actually understand each other.
Yeah.
But the religion makes that a little bit difficult.
Yeah. And then like let's say the things that she used to do that would make me mad, now I look at it and smile.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, that's just my mom.
It's a different perspective also.
Yeah, completely.
It's like that's just how she was raised, or that's how she is, or whatever the case may be.
She didn't change. Nothing changed. Just my
Your
perspective changed.
Period. That's what life is.
But that's what it is.
That's
see things
literally
in a different light.
That's literally the simple truth that we're all here to constantly learn. Like when it's a lesson that we're learning for real, it's asking you to welcome in a new perspective. Because if you feel some type of way, there's a part of us that's resisting what's happening. And so life is ultimately like welcome in a new way that you're not seeing.
Hold
you
on,
know?
I have to pause.
No, you're
I have
fine.
to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
You guys continue. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, that's just really like what that is.
Okay.
It don't matter.
Did you bring tarot cards or your cards or anything like that?
Yeah, so I do have a couple tarot cards, but I did not bring the tarot cards specifically. I personally love oracle decks more. I don't know if you've heard.
I don't know. Explain.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that. So
Okay.
Explain it to me and to the listeners.
Yes, actually, dude, I would love to say to the listeners because, well, even you coming from a church background, dude, like just taking the steps and listening to myself has really just been the most beneficial to my journey. And I say that because even just really quick going back to the advice for real, when I say discernment and whether to receive someone's advice or not, you can feel when the advice is genuine and coming from a genuine place of like, I've been there before, you know? And then you can feel when a judgment is just someone, or you can feel when someone's advice is just judgment.
Yeah.
And where they're just saying and they don't even know what they're saying. You know what I mean? So it's more of an automatic response. And that's where someone is reacting rather than responding to you, you know? So that's where if you're reacting to me and just want to say something, I'm not going to take your advice. But if you're intentionally like, you know what? Like you could actually benefit from going the other way. Then that's just like where I'll take it. You know what I mean? But with the tarot cards, so even when I was meditating, I was just meditating and then I would just start meditating with crystals to amplify the energy, you know? So intentionally I'm using different crystals to just give me extra love or, you know, give me extra strength, things like that. But then, so I didn't even really know anything about anything. Again, this is me just on my own little world. And even in my own little world to the sense of like, I'm not out here like doing classes like I am now. You know, this is personally just for me. And so there was one morning where I just finished meditating and I was sitting outside, and I used to live in North Carolina. And my neighbors across the street, like all their backyards is like kind of like a jungle type place, like a bunch of trees, bushes. Yeah. But it's not big because on the other side of it, it's like the rest of our neighborhood. So it's a good little thing, but it's not the biggest little jungle area, you know? But I was sitting there, it's like 6:00 in the morning, and I just see something in my peripheral, and I look up, and it's a fucking deer.
A deer?
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, this is a joke. And at the time, I'm freaking calling my ex to come look at it and stuff, but my loud ass scared the deer away. But I was just so happy. I was like, a deer did not come out of that bush. And then that day, like, I just went on about my day, everything like that. My schedule was to go to Barnes & Noble. So I did. And I'm in these freaking aisles like I always am. And I'm walking in the aisle where all the decks are and stuff. And it's so funny because I never even look in that area. And in my peripheral, again, something catches my eye. And I look. And it's an animal deck. Oh, which I brought. And the animal deck has a fucking... I think it's called like a staff because it's like the male. But anyways, there's a deer on the front. And that's what made me get the Oracle deck and even just be introduced to the deck for real. Okay. Because even my natural thought and just like from the, you know, society and certain shit, like I'm over here just thinking that like psychic people are psychic people. You know, like you're born with those gifts and shit like that.
Like superpowers.
Yeah. But then getting into my spiritual journey, that's when I've learned that like many of us are real sensitive and we really just closed it off. And because we're more fearful than anything, that's where we're blocking it off a lot, you know? And so that's just what really got me introduced to the cards. And so I took that deck home and what those freaking animals, well, the animal deck connected me with the animal realm for real. And then it just allowed me to get more decks. But the tarot deck is just like, the tarot deck is only a traditional tarot deck. So there's many different decks, but it's kind of like to the artist's, to the author's liking, you know? So it's like they're all creating the same tarot deck, just different images. Yeah. But it holds the same, the cards are the same. It has the same imagery, like message in a sense. And they tell the same story. And so obviously the story just goes how the cards come out. But with the whole Oracle deck, every deck is different. And it's more guidance than each card telling a particular story. You know what I mean? And so with Oracle decks, because every Oracle deck is different, some decks are kind of like affirmations to where like it's just one word and then it's just a reminder of the energetic that word brings. And then there's other decks that kind of just are more towards the animals or more towards angels specifically. And so it's kind of guided messages from these, and it's more positive insights, you know? And so that's what I resonate with more than the tarot. I like to use more of the Oracle decks just because it holds, to me at least, the messages are more expansive. And sometimes it can really just hit home for more people rather than just the same like cards that the, you know, tarot has. But nothing against tarot. I just personally don't do that.
You just relate more to the other.
To the Oracle, for real, for real. But yeah, I did bring some if you like to see.
Can I try it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, you mind passing me my bag real quick, please?
Yeah. We'll start with him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I missed obviously what you guys are talking about, but did you just ask her about the cards? Or?
Yeah, she was explaining the cards, and she said that the way she was meditating in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, so just the way I just told the story how I freaking came about like having the cards for myself because I'm telling you, I didn't really plan this. Like, I'm just meditating. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't intentional. Like, I want to start reading cards, you know? And that's where I'm saying, like, I'm listening to my soul. And I feel like my soul is constantly just guiding me.
Pulling you
exactly.
Right?
So it's
that's
like my soul knows before I
do,
do, you know? And so it's like only my soul knew what I was going to get from these decks, how far it was going to take me. And that's what I'm saying. I just bought it because I fucking seen a deer in the morning. And now there's a deer on the deck.
I remember you literally told me that. Yeah, got it. Yeah, and you're like, actually, I have some in my car. I was like, perfect.
Yes, exactly. And so even so getting introduced to the decks, and then me being open to the animal realm and this and that. So it's just opening me up more to more knowledge. So now I'm applying more knowledge that I know. So now I'm not just seeing all these animals. I'm seeing the messages they're sending me every time I see them. So I'm taking note of where I am present, like, you know, the environment that I'm in, where my mind is, what animal is coming across me.
When, like, let's say you just
What the fuck? When I left my ex in 2021, let me tell you, one of the first fucking things I seen right when I parked in the parking lot.
Tell me.
2 grasshoppers want to hop on my windshield. And you know what that means? Take a leap of faith. I was like, Lord, I'm here, all yours, ready to go.
I feel like that's just another sign, you know,
Yeah.
like if you weren't at that moment, if you weren't paying attention to those grasshoppers, you might have missed that sign from
And
God,
if I didn't listen to myself to get this deck just because I'm like, I'm not trying to do
Girl,
that.
and
you know
when
what
do
I mean?
you ever see grasshoppers on your car?
No, I'm trying to tell you.
I've
trying
never
to tell
seen a
you.
grasshopper.
I was gonna say I've never seen that.
Yeah,
before.
and it was right when I pulled up to the parking lot. You know, it wasn't like these grasshoppers was on my hood like the whole time I'm driving. No, I pull in, and right when I park, they jump up, and I'm like,
hop onto
yup,
there,
and I'm like,
girl,
Lord,
this
I
is
am
for you.
here. My faith is here.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do you first.
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah,
you go
so
first.
I brought a few decks just so like you can see, and then you can just
pick
pick,
one
you know?
that
Okay.
calls you.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't ask her which one you think is best. Look at them and be like, "This is the one I like."
Dang, did you do this before?
With you, girl, you got me. That's what you told me, so I'm just repeating what you told me.
No, I love that you remember. What?
Okay, but you have no idea.
That's kind of crazy, though.
I don't know if you
No, it's not kind of crazy. It's
divine.
divine. Oh my God! Do you want to hear the greatness? Wait, he didn't. He didn't hear the greatness.
What?
Okay,
Dude.
What was the greatness?
Okay.
Yeah.
Also to Mississippi for a little bit.
Yeah.
My grandpa was storing all of my stuff within his garage.
Mhm.
Her bed and all like that stuff.
Everything.
Belongings.
The main thing that needed to be covered was my mattress and my car.
Okay.
Did he cover them? No.
Mhm.
Is my paint job on my car fucked up? No. Yes. My mattress, is it completely like I don't even want to touch
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it is.
So then she comes over today, right? And remember I told you the other day we had an extra mattress and we asked you if you wanted it. And you're like, no, I'm good, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like, okay. So then they walk in the door and we're like, I feel like immediately, right?
Yeah.
Like within minutes, Damon was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we have an extra mattress. Like if you need it, and she just moved back and she needs a bed. She's like, actually,
And
I
that's
do.
like the one of the things that she's kind of just like holding off because she's like, let me get everything else.
Yeah.
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 Like $24 like
Air mattress will do the job
Yeah.
for now,
Air
you know.
mattress, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like she just put it to the side because she's not worried
And
about
then,
it.
like,
and then
today-
God gonna come through
Yeah, and
and
then
be like,
today-
oh, you're not worried about this because you're worried about everything else. So let me give you this then.
I'm
Literally.
gonna pay for rent. I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
for everything else. But
So it's-
mattress, I got it. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And
But I
then
pulled up like over there.
Kahea was like, hey, can Sin come with me earlier, right? I told
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And I was like nervous because I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is our first person on the podcast. And I was like, let me ask my brother because this is his
Yeah.
house. And he's like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. She can come. And then like not thinking, I mean, I already know you.
Yeah.
I love you. We connect so much. But I didn't think anything
Just
else
knowing
would
how
come
big
from
it is,
that.
yeah.
And they literally walk in the door and within 5 minutes, Amy's like, yeah, we have an extra mattress. She's
Yeah,
like,
and that's just what I
oh my
constantly
God,
tell
like, I
her
need
too, where it's
that.
just like divine timing always,
and
you know.
Kahea was like, that's God literally
Yeah,
providing
like she's
exactly
all
what
like
you
literally
needed.
trying to
I was
calm.
Like, oh my God, like.
And as soon as
I'm
Damon
hearing
said that, I was like, Cynthia,
She's like,
receive it.
right there, that girl.
No,
Yeah, because
yeah.
we've been looking for people to give it to. Everyone's like, no, 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 no. And she's like, yes. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's literally like,
I'll send
The
you my
timing.
text in the morning.
because like if you wouldn't have came, we
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have like told Kahea. Like we would,
Literally.
it
And
just,
that's,
like,
to
the
me,
timing of everything was
I
so
honestly
perfect.
just love it because like this is a lot of the miracles or even just a lot of the greatness that I try to tell people that I experience all the time, but it's because I'm open to it. It's because I know that it's there, you know, and I know God's going to show up. And so it just means so much to me when like I see God working for everyone else around
in
me,
different
you know what I mean?
ways.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Not like I'm not saying like maybe you were, maybe you weren't like praying for like a mattress, right? It's like such a silly thing, but it's like
No, but it's everything.
that was
Yeah.
there when you needed it. Even if you asked for it, you didn't ask for it. Like that was
Yeah.
literally there for you. And it was, like,
Provided, which he
we
will
were
always
looking
provide.
for it, yeah, and we were looking for like what should we do with this, and it just was like perfect.
Yeah, and that's what I was
It
telling
was
her
so
when we were
perfect.
driving here. I was like, "Girl, you see, this ain't about you, but it's about you."
No,
In the
that's
sense
just-
of like,
I was laughing because I felt embarrassed because she was like,
No,
you guys have no idea how like excited
not
she
at
is.
all.
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah, yeah.
so excited to be like, yes, this is.
I just
like,
needed
for
you guys
someone.
to know for real how big it was. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
like to me, that's what I recognize it as too, where it's like that's what I mean by we're on a spiritual journey and people are not aware. You
Right.
just gave that away. God is
Yeah.
using you.
But that's the thing is that it's okay. The last week where my uncle who doesn't make the best of decisions.
Mm-hmm.
He wants a mattress.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, you can have it. Like the one that hasn't been covered, that hasn't been taken well care of. Like.
And now you're taken care of.
Yeah.
But to me, in my soul, like what I told you, was I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of feel bad. Like, I don't want to give this to you, but you choose to be on the streets. So
Yeah. You gotta pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And honestly, like in my journey and where I say like I don't like to let little shit like that go unnoticed, even because her like not showing her full excitement. Like there's been moments
I could
where
tell, girl. I could tell. You were not fooling me.
There's moments where like I myself like felt the same way, like I don't want to show that much excitement. And I feel like as an Aquarius, honestly, I kind of am like that. Like when people gift me things or stuff like that, I don't have the biggest reaction.
That's another thing we could talk into. Like I feel like that should be like another episode.
The horoscopes.
Like, the horoscopes and stuff, because I mean, you know me, girl. What am I?
Yeah, Taurus.
Yeah.
No, for real.
We're known for what? What would you say? Like, this is side note. What would you say our Taurus
Are you
is
really
known
asking?
for?
'Cause I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
could
honest.
you agree? Could you agree with her? Go. Let it on him.
What do you know what I'm gonna say?
Go ahead, girl. I won't get mad.
No, I feel like so I love
Don't
Taurus.
hold back,
I do
don't
love
hold back.
Taurus, but I feel like Taurus is one of the few that is loyal to a fault.
To a fault.
To a fault.
Like too loyal.
I'll say it.
Is that
Too
what you
loyal.
mean? Okay.
So too loyal, and so the reason why, like, because they're gonna talk about their loyalty big time, but I know that loyalty to self is the biggest loyalty you can have.
Yeah.
So that's why I say loyalty to a
You
fault.
never told me this. Why are you calling me out?
Yeah, you asked. Don't ask. Don't ask questions.
No, I just
I'm
want to.
kidding.
I'm just curious because, like, I feel like obviously we're brother and sister.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know already, but like we know each other, but we don't really know each other because you can only know each other so much.
Yeah.
Whether it's a friendship, a relationship, sibling, mother, father, whatever it may be. So when like I can get another perspective in on it, I'm always so curious. Like, do you agree with him? And that's what
It's
I'm
just
saying.
'cause,
Like, lay it on me, girl.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Taurus are very loyal. They're very home people. And so that's just where they are very giving. And they're content in the sense where they don't need too much, And so that's just where they can, sometimes their loyalty is to a fault just because they're very content with a lot of things, especially with the comfortability of where they are. And so with that, that's just where they will sometimes allow other people to really take them out of their comfortability. You know what I mean?
And that's where I get mad.
Yeah, or sometimes too, that's just where we're too homey. We're too comfortable in the sense of like our comfortability to where sometimes Taurus are too stubborn. Like, this is just me. This is just the way I am.
That's the whole, like, bullhorn thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we're too stubborn.
Yeah.
But are we stubborn or are we just stern?
I think both.
Right?
I think there's a balance.
Like, you ain't crossing my line.
Yeah.
So
and I
if
say
you wanna,
that.
if you want to call me stubborn,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I love
You
that
just
you
like the answer.
I love that you asked that though, because when people talk about the negative sides to certain horoscopes, I feel like that's what they don't understand, that if you're a certain horoscope, there is certain energetics that you are here to really balance out. And so if being stubborn is one of your things that you really have to let go of, then I would only imagine that it's really learning to balance your sternness
Okay.
and your delivery,
Would you think stubborn is a bad thing?
No.
Because automatically, I feel like off the bat, people think stubborn, gross. Like, literally, like, oh, you're stubborn? I don't want to deal with you because it's either your way or no way.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's not really that. Because I'm a Taurus and I'm stubborn, I feel like it's more of like we just have boundaries.
Yeah.
And people don't like boundaries.
I don't
when
really
I
judge
say, like, a
certain
certain-
words, honestly.
When I say like a certain thing, it's like that's it, and they don't like that line to be drawn.
Yeah.
But that could just be me being stubborn.
Yeah. So when people kind of ask me, like, do you think stubborn's a bad thing? Or even questions in that sense, I don't like to answer questions like that because I know it could play out differently in many situations.
Recording.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
But I know it can play out in many situations. So that's just where, to me, I don't look at anything as set in stone. You know, like I really just like let me
Period.
see the individual.
Period. No,
You know?
literally, because everyone is different.
Yeah, because people can call you stubborn, and then I can experience you, and it's the sternness. Or people can call you stubborn, and then I experience you, and it is stubborn, you know? But, like, you just asking me, like, is stubborn bad? Then that's where, like, if a person is stubborn, I would want to see to what extent. You know what I mean? Because words aren't bad until we make them bad. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we give meaning to things. And so that's why it's just, like, I don't like to give a meaning to things because I'm like, let me see who I'm talking about.
Okay. You gave the rundown on me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a Taurus, Cancer.
Okay.
Cancer moon.
Yeah.
But I ain't showing my feelings over here. That's where the Taurus comes in.
Yeah.
I don't know his whole 3, but he's a Virgo.
You don't know your whole 3? Do you
know?
Well, we better find out.
We could find out.
Don't give me half-ass information.
But I don't think you know, like, when you were born. You need to know the time you were born.
I don't know the time.
Oh, you don't
we
know
could
the
call
time?
Mom real quick.
We could revisit. Do you think she remembers?
Mom would know.
Oh.
Call her.
If Mom doesn't know the day I came out of...
Here, I'll...
The time?
Yeah.
The time?
I want to say it was, like, middle of the day, because I remember coming home from school, and Mom was in the hospital. Yeah, so it might have been middle of the day.
I love how you have that memory.
For sure. Yeah, no, literally, like, I remember coming home from school, and at the time we were living with my aunt and my uncle, and my mom had, like, a bag packed to go to the hospital.
Do you remember when I was born?
And I remember coming home that day from school, and the bag was gone. And I was like, aw, shit. Like, this is the day, like, I'm going to have a younger sibling.
Aww,
and
I
sure
love
enough,
that.
she was at in the evening. Okay. But, like, what time? Like 6, 7, 5, 4, 3.
7. Okay.
Yeah, because around is good.
And, yeah, that's how I remember. Like, I can picture that in my head.
All right. So September 20th, 2001, around 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
What
But
do you feel like is most?
But right off,
Huh?
he doesn't. Would you resonate with 6 or 7?
Ooh, 6.
I feel like 6. Definitely
6.
earlier in the
You
day.
said 2001?
Yeah.
Yes.
September
Because
20th?
we got off school like 2 or 3, and Mom was already in the hospital, and she didn't have you much long after that. So, like, I would say 6. But
Keep looking for it. Keep
Fresno?
looking for it.
he's a Fresno,
Fresno.
Virgo, California.
Let me see.
I wonder what his are, because I'm Taurus
Yeah.
moon.
You said September 20th, right?
Yep. You can cut any of this out, Diego. It doesn't matter.
No, that's good. I'm just making space because
Girl, because I feel like Taurus moon is, like, so difficult.
No, what?
I'm a hard person to deal with. So if you deal with me, God bless you. But at the same time, I feel like I have the best intention for people. That's
All
just
right.
me.
What am I?
Good
am I?
intent. No, you just made me think of another quote. Too funny.
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. We have to do another episode for your...
Yeah. I'm telling you
So
guys, just
God.
invite me, shoot, whenever.
Girl,
For the
I
most
will.
part, I'm probably going to be leaving like sometime in May, but so you
Okay.
guys got
we'll
some
come
time.
back again then. We'll come
Yeah.
back again for a part 2.
Yeah.
I feel like our
What's-
conversations is just so, like, natural because I know you and we connect so well. And you know my brother, and, like, even
Yeah.
though that's, like, a newer relationship, but we're, like, kind of on the same wavelength where we're kind of, like, open to any
Yeah.
conversation, and
Literally.
we're not taking, like, judgment, like, so hard. It's just an open conversation,
Yeah.
and it's just fun.
Literally.
I just like it. Like, really, I just like it. When me and Kahe hang out, like, girl, we be going on tangents.
I know, it's so funny. I just
Like,
love it
here
because
and there.
we're so okay with it.
Uh-huh.
But
And it's
Damon
so,
will literally
we'll
be on the
so
side.
disassociated.
And he's so, like, on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
He's, like, happy with us. And then he's like, fuck, y'all talking about sad shit. And
Yeah,
he's, like,
yeah,
all
yeah,
happy
yeah.
and sad. And he's like, oh, I got to get away. Like, he feels the
he
emotions.
will literally be like, I gotta walk out the room.
Yeah.
And he'll walk out because we're just like so up and down, but we're so connected.
Yeah,
that we're just,
exactly.
like,
we don't even
on
feel
the
the
same
roller
level.
coaster he's on.
Because everyone is so different. And
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like we're just like two strong people.
Exactly.
Not that saying Damon isn't strong, but everyone is strong in their own way.
Period.
And some people can't handle like the certain emotions in the same way.
Yeah.
So when me and her are like so connected, someone else can come in and be like, well, this is a lot. Let me step back.
They will
And
really
that's,
feel
like,
the
him.
depth of it, you know?
Like,
And-
like earlier, he walked right back out.
Yeah. He was
Because
like,
he
forget
knew
this.
we were like in the depth of it.
No,
And
he-
we
Yeah.
are just so real with each other.
He
And
literally
you guys
said
are just.
that when he came in. He was
No.
like, it's getting spicy, and then he left.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are getting this on camera, which is like, good for you guys, but like
No, for real.
when me and Kahea hang out, like I don't think anyone understands the level that we're on. And we say this every time we
It's
hang
all
out.
run on sentences.
Are we not
Yeah.
lying though? Like,
No.
girl, every time we hang out, we're like, I don't know if it's in circles.
It just
really,
comes back down to life,
or
you
we're
know?
just
So it
like
goes everywhere
constantly
for
like
real.
feeding off each other. Like,
Yeah.
yes, this, yes, this, yes, this,
Yeah.
yes, this. It's just like a
Honestly.
great conversation. And I don't think I've had, other than my other friend Jamie, which I don't see her that often, I don't think I've had like another relationship like that. And
You
no
can just
against
talk.
like any of my friends or any of my family. Like I love everybody. I love them all. But you meet those people who where you can just like have
Talk.
those
Yeah.
conversations with and like pick up exactly where you
Mhm.
left off. Like it doesn't matter how long you've seen each other,
Yeah.
when it was, or anything like that. It was just like, hey, how you doing?
I agree.
Where you at? What are you doing? Like it's just so easy. And for us it's like that, and I'm so happy to have you in my life because like
Likewise.
not that like
Likewise.
I wouldn't know what to do without you. But like
What would you
really
do
though,
without me?
no, really though, like who would I be having these conversations with?
Yeah.
Other than I feel like me and my brother have really good conversation, which is why we're here. Why we have this podcast is because we're so open and honest with each other, right?
Mhm,
Like I
mhm.
don't feel like we are ever mad at each other or
No.
like
Yeah.
haven't experienced that yet. Like we can like both be like, hey, you're acting dumb right now or whatever
Yeah.
it may be, but
Yeah.
like we're learning something different with you. Like
Yeah.
obviously we're brother and sister,
Yeah.
and you're an outside source for us,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just happy to have you because
No, likewise. Both of you, really. Because, I mean, you can definitely tell that, you know, whenever you guys do talk, it's just the openness, really. And trust me, even
Well, I'm
before
glad.
coming here, I was just like, this conversation can go anywhere.
anywhere,
Yeah.
however long,
Yeah.
anytime. It's just like so precious.
Yeah. And that's really why I didn't ask, just because, you know, I am really open to many things. And I was just like, well, it's just going to be what it is, really.
Yeah, we had no structure going into this at all. Like I had one question and he had one question, and those questions were asked in the beginning, and we're in almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just been going. So let's roll
Yeah.
back a second.
Mm-hmm.
We can do another episode, but we're gonna read some cards.
Yeah.
Before we end.
And
Yeah.
what's my
Yeah, I just
And
wanted
to
to share
see
the
what it
insight
is.
on his on your information. So you're Virgo sun, and then a
Okay.
Scorpio moon,
is that good? Oh
and
my
a
God.
and a Pisces rising.
Okay, what
So-
does that mean?
Yeah, so right now I'm only sharing these main information, the sun, moon, and the ascendant,
Gemini,
because
Sag rising.
this is when people say like, what's your big three?
Uh-huh.
And so that's what they're really asking, like, what's your sun, moon, and
Okay.
ascendant. Another word for ascendant is rising sign.
I feel like the Leo
And so,
Gemini kinda like goes
Mainly
together.
people just know their sun sign, which is a Virgo.
Yeah.
Your Virgo represents more of your the energetics of your ego.
Okay.
So each horoscope is technically characteristics.
Yeah.
And so once you understand the characteristics of a horoscope, then you'll understand the energetics that person holds, you know? And so with your ego being a Virgo, that's just where you can, it's just like egoically, you can just be more organized, you know, just more disciplined in certain sense than other people. And then your moon being in Scorpio, your moon just represents your feelings, the parts that people don't really see. And so your ego compared to how you handle your emotions is usually very, very different. You know what I mean? And so that's just what those two signs kind of represent. It just the Virgo, you being an earth sign, just kind of shows people what your ego is like. And then the whole Scorpio being your moon is just more you can come off more of a deep person. And then also a deep person in the sense of you're open to the inner work, you know, and going within. And I say that because a lot of people know that they need to go within. A lot of people know that they do need to do work on themselves, but a lot of people are not going to sit with themselves. You know, a lot of people are not going to do the work. They're going to resist. They're going to do the escapism, you know? But people who usually are like, I say more Scorpio just because that's what Scorpio is, a water sign. And Scorpio is more of a deep water. And so Scorpios represent the whole death and rebirth. And so that's the energetics they hold. And so your moon sign being that, it just helps you just be more welcoming to the deep deeper things, you know, to where a lot of people that would scare them. They would be like, fuck that, not going within, you know, but that could just be a reason to why you're just more guided within. And then also your rising being a Pisces, your rising is just more of your personality, how you come off to people. Okay. So people, you could tell people you're a Virgo and people be like, dang, I would have never knew. You know what I mean? Just because it's like your personality can come off, like people can experience you differently. You know what I mean? But being Pisces, 12th house is water again. So you having a double water, which is your rising and your moon. And then your sun is a Virgo. I feel like your Virgo does keep you more grounded in the earth sign. You know what I mean? He
needs a little bit come down to earth sometimes. I'm like, bro, I'm going to reel you back in really fast.
No, I believe it with a Pisces, because he has a Pisces rising, but then also too, the Uranus and the Neptune is in the 12th house, which is Pisces as well.
That goes way more into detail. That's why I'm like, I feel like we should have another episode if you don't mind coming back on and just talking about like that stuff.
And just touching on that, I just feel like that's just why he's such in a very just taking the informative like information from the
in the point of his life. Yeah, for sure. It's like all new. Yeah, in your sense, it's new to you.
It's because really sole purpose, you know, and so you're really here. And that's the thing that you have to think about, because it's like we can want to intake information, we can want to ascend, we can want to receive answers, but that's just our intellectual mind. And so sometimes you have to let your intellectual mind know that like you have that all within. And so I say that because it's your intellectual mind that makes you want to keep searching. You know what I mean? But if you kind of just shut your intellectual mind off a little bit, then that's just where you'll see that you're taking the proper steps for what your soul is ready to intake. And so it's like you're on your spiritual journey already, you know, and each of these little information, like you may not understand why you're intaking it all now, but in a couple of years you might be ready to explain it to other people. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be right now in this moment.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just why I say like it's just different, but just knowing that information with you being like having a Pisces rising and then a couple placements in your 12th house, that's just where Pisces is just more already in tune spiritually. And so that's what I'm saying, like people who are Pisces in general are more in tune with the spiritual realm, whether they believe it or not. And so that's why I'm saying like you don't have to believe shit. Energy is here. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're not affected.
Whether or not you want it or not.
Exactly.
Like the way you feel is because
and that is why a lot of people just certainly kind of feel out of place, but it's just because you're more sensitive, you know? And so that's why I really wouldn't be surprised.
Girl, preach. Just why I'm saying we didn't have an episode, but you know what? At the end of this, we're going to have another conversation. So we can recap.
Okay,
but
these cards.
To finish off the episode, before we're actually like done, because I don't want to forget anything, where can these people find you?
Dude.
Let them know.
Find me if you can. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm hide and seek.
No, for real.
We'll tag her if you want us to tag you.
Shoot, yes, please. I'm like, they will tag me, but I'm like, my TikTok and my Instagram, I believe, are the same, which is the Nspyr me, the NSPYRME.
Yeah.
That's me.
Cool.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we'll add you down there.
Yeah, but yeah, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram. That's where I am right now.
Okay. So let's do a little.
Yeah. So I brought 3 decks.
This one.
Cool. Angel
off the
one.
bat.
Yeah. What about
take
you?
This other blue one.
Okay, the 7. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
These cards look crazy.
Yeah, I love them. I honestly love them so much.
I've never seen tarot cards or any cards like these in person.
Yet.
In person, never.
I love that. I'm gonna show you.
So this is my very first time.
So I'm like, after the podcast, we're going to Jasmine's house to chill. Are you
Okay.
going to
Yeah, I'll go.
Because I'm like, we can get like you can actually look into them
I'm dizzy now. I'm like,
more over there.
Yeah.
Can you blur me?
Yeah, I can blur.
Okay.
Well, let me check a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But more too, you can. I'm gonna have you hold the deck.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how this works, so you have to guide me
Wait,
through
did you have
everything.
me do that? I don't think you had me do that.
It's okay.
I can't remember. It don't matter. It really, girl, whatever calls you, calls you.
Yeah.
I'm listening
truly.
to you.
It really is like that, honestly. It's crazy how it works for real.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna have you hold them, and then hold on, sorry, let me just explain for a little bit. When I give them to you, I'm like, they're pretty much gonna get your energy when you are holding them in your hands.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so they're pretty much just
exciting.
connecting with you for real.
Okay.
And then you can just like hold it in your hands for a little bit, and then these cards, because everything is energy, it's really just connecting with you. And so I'm really just explaining it because like I can pull your cards, but if you want to and if you're feeling called to, it's like you can pull them for yourself. You know what I mean? Like you can shuffle it for yourself. And that as well. So it's like you can, because it's your first time, you can just, be like, oh, I just want one. But if you just want to be like, oh, like I would like 3 cards, I would like 2
That's
cards.
what I was thinking. It was 3.
Because 2, then you can go any way with it. Like when you're holding the cards and connecting, you can literally just like ask, and 2, you can like talk to God specifically. You know what I mean? And just be like, God, like just reveal anything to me with these cards.
Like speak a message before you. Okay.
Because it's, in a sense, you're just asking for the highest guidance that you're meant to receive, and so it's like sometimes subconsciously we may not know what that higher message is that we need. Or you can go the other route and you can ask specific questions. You know what I mean? Like, can you just give me a guidance on this? Can you give me guidance on this?
Okay.
And can you give me this guidance within 3 cards, and then with the whole shuffling, like you can shuffle the cards, and like sometimes some cards come out, sometimes you'll just get the sense to stop, and then you can flip the cards on top. Some people, they just like to lay it straight out and kind of like cover their hands over.
Yeah,
then,
so
like,
whatever
they just
you
called
feel.
to stop. Yeah, so that's just what I'm really explaining, because we can go about it any way, So I really just don't want to be like, oh, let me just pull your cards and stuff like that, because it's just like you can pull them for yourself. You can lay it out on the floor and really just get a sense of them and just stop and pull whatever you want to pull. You know what I mean? But yeah, so you can hold them, and really there's no rush. Like take your time, breathe into it, ask for guidance, or ask specific questions.
Oh, yeah, I'm on here. Okay.
And then whenever you're ready, you can really shuffle it yourself, or you can give it to me.
One at a time, or just the 3?
Are they all different cards?
Yeah.
They're all separate. Okay.
Yeah. And so even like that, like you can stop shuffling and you can pick the top 3, or you can pick like 1 and shuffle again. Pick
Don't
another.
overthink.
Yeah.
Don't overthink.
Trust me, your soul knows.
Just let it be.
But yeah, you can give it to me if you do want me to, but if you want to, you're more than welcome.
All right. 1.
Okay.
Just go for it, bro.
This
is his first time too. This
I
is
love
special.
that. And you see how they're orange? Like
And
your mic?
it's Kahea doing it, so you even know it's more special.
Yes.
And
it's
I
an
haven't
honor.
seen this deck yet, so I'm excited for her to do mine.
I'll do those 2.
It's an honor. Okay.
The calling, just the 2.
Yeah, can I see this real quick? Sorry. I just like to look at the bottom, which is romance and connection.
Yo.
You are so funny, dude.
No, because you don't know the conversations we'll be having. That's why. It's just a good time. That's
Yeah.
why.
Alright, what did I
let's go.
draw?
Let's go.
You got compassion and do the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Explain.
which I really love. So even with this root being romance and connection, I don't need that other card, but then the following one is transformation, which I really love, because I just feel like that's just
Hand in hand.
what all these will equal up to is really just your evolution, your transformation. And so even with the romance and connection being the root of the reading, it can really just go hand in hand both ways, to the sense of it's just asking you to really be mindful of not just like the connection with yourself, but even the connections that you're building with other people in these time. And then it's just doing the work, as in like showing compassion to yourself, showing compassion to other people, especially with the new insights that you're getting, the new experiences that you're getting, you know what I mean? Because ultimately compassion is what's going to help you receive the lessons in this journey. That's what's going to open your eyes to what you're here to receive for real. And the compassion is what's going to lead you to the transformation. And it's so big because the compassion is what many people don't understand. A lot of people are in their journey of transformation, evolution, and they are becoming many new versions of themselves, but they're still treating themselves with hate, with judgment, and with resistance. And so that's where people still kind of hold resentment, still kind of hold anger. They hold a negative charge in the way of like, it's always been this way, or like the healing journey never ends, you know, but it's because you're holding that resistance and a part of you is tired. And that's the part of you that's expressing itself. Because once you show yourself compassion, you know that things don't need to be this hard, this serious, this rough. That's what we're creating, that experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when you're easy on yourself and when you give yourself more compassion, that's where you're constantly looking at yourself in a new way, in a new light, rather than doing all the work and still seeing yourself at level 1. You know?
Okay.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Because that's where people
It's
really...
not good.
Yeah, no, because that's where so many people evolve in so many ways. Even just a simple example of people like getting healthier and losing weight. And this is where people really lose so much weight.
I relapsed.
And get in a better place. But... their personality, the way they talk to themselves, is still in a negative way. It's still as if they're still 100 pounds overweight, you know?
You're talking to me right now.
And that's just in a sense to where it's like, you're trying to work on your outer image to help how you feel about yourself, but all the external is not going to help how you feel about yourself.
That's why
change how you look at yourself.
Don't matter. Right?
Okay.
That's
no,
the
for real,
saying
for
came
real.
from. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also quickly, like, I mean, I know I say that, but I just love to read the things from the books, because so even these they come with like explanations, you know, and I just really love the way they explain things, you know. It's the words, that's what I'm saying.
It's just differently than what you would say. So
period. Are you ready?
Yes.
Another
Cool.
message.
So this is do the work.
Ooh.
Yeah, then we'll read
Do the work.
compassion after.
Okay.
So this one is, if you are wondering whether to move forward or not, this card is a message from your angels to continue on. You might feel that your current situation requires more time and energy than you are able to give, and there's a good chance that you are feeling disheartened or even drained. It's important to know that everything involved in this situation is pivotal to your growth, expansion, and spiritual connection. This card invites you to switch on the light you have within. It is time to be a star, to rise up, to get behind the wheel and drive the journey of your life. Yes, energy is going to be needed to hustle and push, but every single effort you make will pay off. Right now, you are sending out a signal, and that will create a wave that can lay the foundation for the rest of your life. And the extended message to that is, being spiritual isn't always easy. It comes with a price, and often the price is time and effort. That is why angels call it light work, because we have to work with our light. This isn't spiritual easy. This isn't spiritual vacation. This is spiritual work. And that does mean we have to work. Action, effort, and surrender. And trust that you are needed for things to come together. But when this card appears, you have an important opportunity to figure out the balance between effort and effortlessness. And understand when both of these energies need to move through your being. If you want to abandon a project or walk away from a situation, this card is letting you know that you are needed more than ever. This isn't the time to run away. This is the time to turn up. When you show up ready and willing to do the work, you will move up too.
Okay.
Compassion. That was really
That's pretty good.
That one's crazy.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Because
nice.
it just laid it all out for you. I feel like every question you had was just answered, and not only like straight up, but like seamlessly. Like there's no questions after that.
Yeah.
And even like that was for him, but I feel like we could probably all relate to that.
Yeah.
It was just like, don't worry.
Yeah. And
Like,
honestly, like, that's why I'm really grateful. And I say that, like, your soul be knowing, because I got the animal deck just because, you know, it called to me. But that's why I'm saying that, like, it just made me receive the animals in a different way, you know, because now I'm knowing their messages. But then even just getting more to buying another deck and just things like that, it was building my intuition. It was building my trust.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like sometimes I don't have people to talk to. I'll just pull one card, and just reading a little passage just gives me that reassurance of like what you're feeling isn't crazy. You know what I mean? And so that just gave me the courage to just trust my intuition even more, because these are just cards I'm pulling. I'm not having conversations with anybody, you know what I mean? But if a card can tell me I'm not tripping, you know? No, for real.
It's not just a sign if it's not a sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And that's just where like I was building it. And so sometimes I would just ask certain questions, and that's where I was just building. You see, thank God for another day. That's another way to stay present. I got 5 alarms to thank God for another day.
And one came on right now. So
Yeah,
I'm
Like
thankful for this
mindfulness
moment.
alarms?
Yeah, Yeah,
Okay.
and it's really just
thankful,
bringing me back and just
cool.
just
Love
like
that.
a mental note,
Yeah.
you know, of where I am, and then just coming back presently and thanking
Because
God.
this,
And then we can carry on with our conversation, just
I
like
feel like this was a great moment for that to pop up, like perfect.
Yeah.
But even if it wasn't this moment, and say you were having like a bad moment,
Yeah.
it would have brought you back.
every time.
And that
then
just
even
did
too,
that.
even when people don't hear it, everyone's just like, "What's that
What
alarm
is that?
for?"
And then
And
you
then
are
I
there.
say it, and they're
Let
like,
them
"You need
know.
a alarm to pray." I'm like, 5 times a day, yeah. How many times do you pray?
Catch up.
Like,
Ooh.
what?
Catch up.
That's what I'm saying. It's the gratitude. You gotta. If you ain't grateful, you ungrateful. I'm just saying.
And that's exactly what we started with, and that's what we're finishing
Yeah,
with.
full
We're on the
circles.
same
Full
line.
circles around here.
Exactly. That was perfect.
I love that.
Go ahead.
Shoot. Let's read compassion.
Because I'm going to pick one too, so don't
Yes.
leave yet.
It says, your angels are wrapping a light of compassion around you at this time and guiding you to let go of conflict or the need to prove your point. The more you resist and fight, the unhappier and more drained you will be. Pointing out mistakes or mishaps or concentrating on the negative traits or actions of others will only hold you back. Don't let the unjust actions of others block your experiences of joy and freedom. Take time to review where in your life you may be feeling held back or even consumed by frustration and anger, and ask your angels to shine their light upon you and the situation. Changing how you see yourself will help change how others see you. Angels are surrounding you at this time and encouraging you to see yourself through their loving and holy eyes. All of the ups and downs you have faced, all of the insecurities you have overcome, and all of the setbacks you have moved beyond are a testament to your resilience and your strength. So have compassion and respect for yourself. Angel wisdom is encouraging you to love and treat yourself the way you would love to be loved and treated by others. Then your own actions will be mirrored back to you by those around you. So ask your angel guide to help you be more compassionate toward yourself.
I feel like just hearing that for you, right? 'Cause that was for you. I feel like we're just like your big sisters, right? Like just trying to help you and like guide you in whatever that means. Like guiding doesn't mean one way.
Guiding is just showing you where to look, not what to see.
Exactly. And that's why we're together. She just literally finished my sentence. If you did not catch that, I literally said 3 words and she went along and finished it. And that's why.
Come on, catch the drift, guys.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why we're here.
Go ahead. The floor is yours after that. I didn't even have to even say what I was thinking.
No,
she
for
got
real.
me.
But I love that reading for you.
Well, how do you
Sounds
like
good.
if you want to share? You
Yeah.
don't have to.
What do you
But
mean?
like, how did that make you feel?
The
Seen, noted.
Just the
What?
card pulling.
Was it like, yes, no?
I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
A part of me is skeptical
Uh-huh.
because it's like
good to be true?
randomness, but also like too good to be true, like you said. Because there are
Too
things.
good to be true.
But then there are things.
It's just like it makes
like-
too much sense that it's not
No.
real.
Yeah.
Stop. But what
But
is
we
real?
We live. and
Too
a lot
good
of
to be
good is
true.
Yeah.
Do you
No.
not? I do, because I feel like that's just where we came from.
Uh-huh.
If something like really good is happening, something bad is gonna happen.
But
That could
see,
be, like,
that's a
the
part of the
trauma or
condition.
whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But that's why
I'm glad
that's
you
why
hit
he
it on the
said
nail.
Too good to be true, because it was like it all sounded too aligned
Yeah.
to make sense.
But that's how we psych ourselves out of opportunities, out of living a great life, because we rather stay where we might know that.
You're like, no, that
yeah.
wasn't for me.
No, seriously.
But you just asked for it, and she told you.
And
So
then you're
take
gonna
it if
tell
you
me it's
want.
too
If you
good
don't,
to be
you don't.
true? That's crazy. I'm just like,
It was
no,
very
yeah.
accurate.
No, yeah.
It was very accurate.
I just love
forgot how
that
it
just
feels.
because, like, it's, trust me, I've been there and I know the natural resistance that our human ways
Exactly.
have.
Exactly.
And so it's funny
That's
because our
perfect.
ego will resist information it's not ready for just because it's too good to be true. And when our soul knows there's a limitless possibility, that means there's 1,000 ways for it to go wrong. And your ego is going to be like, hell no, I'll sit back. You know? But that's where your soul is like, go wrong, go right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's just where it's like, that's what I mean by we unconsciously, like subconsciously close ourselves off to experiencing the magic and just like more of the miracles and how great things can really be, because inside we're telling ourselves that it's too good to be true. So that's where we're already blocking experiences.
You're like letting yourself down easy.
We're validating why nothing good
You're
happens.
validating yourself. The
Yeah.
answer you were looking for somewhere else, you just gave it to yourself.
Damn,
And
I
we're
just
just-
exposed myself.
No, but this is
cards will do it.
Cards will do it, I guess. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
It's the same for you, Jazz. Though.
My turn. She said it's the same for you. She's like, let me call you out right now.
Which one did you? Which one did you want?
called Kahan? Yeah, I knew she did that. I knew she did that.
Stop. I love that I brought the Oracles of 7 Energies. I love that we are on your episode 7, right?
Ooh,
7 is my
did that.
favorite number.
She's right.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
okay.
You see how God works.
Mysterious ways, but he's here.
I'm trying to tell you.
He's here.
Yeah. So you can do the same. You can hold it. Just let it connect with you. You can ask it for just an in general message. You can ask specifically information.
I can't say my wish.
Uh-huh. You can shuffle it and pick yourself. You can pick one. You can pick multiple. You can give it to me to pick it.
Whatever feels right to you, Jasmine.
I guess.
I'm waiting
listen,
for it.
Listen
But
to your
I feel
soul.
like this is the one. I feel like this top one.
Okay, great.
I
And
hope
just
it's
on
good.
one.
Yeah, just one. Short and sweet.
I love that.
Call me out, girl.
I love you.
Tell me you love me.
Yeah. I love this too.
What
okay,
is it?
so I love that the root of the reading is the roots of abundance.
Okay.
And then I love that this one says I'm great and full. You know? You see how
We just said. We
grateful.
just said that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you see how I broke it down into 2 words for you, great and full.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just asking you to like embrace your gratefulness even more. You know what I mean? And what it means
So I'm really
to be
being
grateful.
ungrateful right now.
Kinda.
So I had to break it down in 2 words because you didn't get the one. You have to
Yeah.
just do on. Okay?
Because it's also reminding
I
you
can get
that,
that. I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
I told that
Yes.
many times to you. I'm sure you
Yes.
know that, bro. Every time he calls me, I'm stressed. Why? Life. I don't know.
I don't know.
Are you kidding?
Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, bro. There's just too much going on right now.
Stop. I love how this
But-
one right here says endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, didn't we just say that?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is endless possibilities.
All right.
But
Read
stop.
me.
Because, yeah, this is shit you already know. But like you
I
said, you're
know.
stressing for what?
And it's here to tell me.
It's your
remind me.
intellectual
Yeah,
freaking
this
mind.
is my angels telling me, girl, calm down.
Yeah, girl,
Who's speaking
quiet
to me?
your mind.
Yeah. Let me find them.
Dude, you're too funny. But no, because it's really, I'm telling you, the great and full is asking you to really know that you are great and know that you are full. Because intellectually, like even with the information we're telling him, it's like you have the insight, like you have the knowing, you know, the good self-judgment in a way to where it's like obviously you have the best intentions and you're going to try to be there for people, but that's just where it's like you need to just practice your boundaries, because when you're not being quote unquote grateful, in a sense, that's where it's just like a part of you is not feeling great, a part of you is not feeling full. You know what I mean? So we're moving from different knowings. So we're moving from a place of lack. We're
You're
moving from like
here
a place
and here,
of
but never here.
exactly, because we're contradicting. So that's where it's just like if you know this and know this, why, like you said, why are we worrying? What are we worrying about?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's just where it's like you have to become present and you have to tell yourself like, what are we worrying about? You know, because that's just the constant, just you knowing consciously that you're in your mind. You know what I mean? That you are worried, but that's just where the universe is gonna keep making you, or God is gonna keep making you feel worried, because that's where I'm saying that
I'm
we're not
enabling myself.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
people like to say like the world is testing us, but that's where it's asking you to show up for
I'm testing
yourself.
myself.
Yeah, and you're just that's just where we're repeating the same stories. So that's why I always tell people to really like watch your words, because you can think that you're not dealing with something, but you're telling yourself certain stories every day. Yeah. And so even if you're telling yourself that like I'm always worrying, like I can't help myself, I'm always worrying.
Me.
You know what I mean? So it's like tomorrow you're gonna worry, and then you're gonna find yourself saying
And you know
the
what's
same
so
thing.
funny? I feel like I don't know if it was the one before last. I think he read this book, and this girl was like, "Okay, you're gonna time out your day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like 15 minutes. I'm gonna get ready. 15 minutes my breakfast, whatever. And if you're a worrier, then set 15 minutes aside to worry."
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like that really sounds like a waste of time, a waste of a day. Like, oh, I'm gonna from 10 to 10:30, I'm just gonna sit here and worry.
But I love that too, because that's what people. I love when people talk about a waste of a day, because a lot of us are not present in the day, so the day's already wasted. you know. And then when we
Yes.
have so much to do, we're so productive,
You're
we're not
even
enjoying the day.
Enjoying the
So that
moment.
itself is a waste of the day because
Yeah.
you didn't enjoy the day. You're too busy, got your
That's-
fucking head down.
This is just a whole circle.
Yeah,
of
so there's a
exactly
lot of
what I was
wasted
saying.
days here.
A lot of wasted days.
Yeah.
But
And
when you
Yeah.
actually think like, oh, I'm gonna spend 5 to, even like people get home from work,
yeah.
right? They're on their phone till the time they go to sleep. You 4 or 5 hours, whatever you just wasted.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's what I'm saying to people. It's really just gonna.
People don't have time, but you actually don't have time because you were just wasting time.
No, literally. And then we're also gonna just say what's wasting our time.
So
is.
basically, my cards are bitch you worrying, and Diego's cards are like move the fuck up.
Yeah, because it's just I mean, it's these ones are more. I love these because like his is more insight in the sense of like insight on his journey to where
he's at,
yeah, where he's at, and just knowing that he's on the right path to where it's like trust yourself and keep receiving the information and like embrace it and trust where the transformation is taking you. You are more in the sense to where
I
it's
don't
like
have to worry that much.
exactly. So where it's like if you're kind of in a great place, then that's where it's just like allow yourself to rest rather than worry.
You know what?
You
though?
know?
I feel like this is where the trauma comes in for me. Is like
Definitely.
resting is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's the Mexican, the
It's
oldest daughter.
It's all of it.
Everything. It's like
The
there's
responsibility.
no resting, right? Like you're always
Exactly.
taking care of other people, and I don't say this for like any sympathy at
Yeah.
all. It's just how I was raised, and like,
It's the truth.
and at the end of the day, like that's what makes me feel good inside.
Yeah.
Like if I know that I spent my day like catering to the people that I love and they're fulfilled,
Yeah.
then I feel.
Is it
good.
also hard for you to celebrate yourself though?
Yeah. Like if someone's like, "Good job," I'm like, "Shut up, you're lying,"
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what
Yeah.
it may be. But like if I sit down at the end of the day, I'm like, "Dang, like what did I do?" For like let's just say the people that live in my house, right?
Yeah.
Damon and my 2 kids and my dog.
Yeah.
What did I do for them? And if I feel like I didn't do anything for them, then I don't feel fulfilled because
Of
that's
course.
what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Or that's what I've learned, right?
Yeah.
It could be totally different. It could be like, girl, you're just not living for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I,
No,
maybe
it's-
I haven't
it's
found
really,
that spot yet, but
It's really a mix of it because it's just the energy of all that you said, a little bit of everything, you know what I mean? But majority of it, it's trauma in the sense of where this is where a lot of statements really limit us, you know, to where it's just like a lot of parents say work harder, not smarter, you know what I mean?
right,
And just little things like that, or it's just like you have to earn this, or it's like you have to do this, you have to like, or life doesn't stop for nobody, you know what I mean? So
I think that also plays
Yeah.
a role. Like something's always happening. You just
Yeah.
keep going.
And so, but all these statements that are being put on us, these are the extra voices that are outside that is making us be resistant to where we are in our journey. And that's why it's so important to listen to yourself because none of it matters. It's the conditioning. And so when even people
It's-
talk,
It's
like-
right back to the
But it's
beginning of
hard
our
to, like,
conversation.
fight the conditioning.
Oh,
Mhm.
100%.
No, yeah, definitely.
It's
But
like
that's-
the government.
But this
controls
is why
you,
I
and our
say that
conditioning
when you're
controls
on-
us.
Government or is it our roots?
Yeah.
it's everything.
Yeah. It's
And so
both.
this is where you have to understand that you cannot blame, you have to you cannot really, it's not about blaming, but you cannot point the finger at one without the other because that's just where it's like obviously they condition our parents to where it's like our parents cannot help themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so, but that's where it is the nature versus nurture. How much of the society conditioned you, how much of your home environment has put itself on you. But that's why it is so big to even recognize. And that's why I say when you're on your spiritual journey and you're listening to yourself to build that trust and connection, you really need to listen.
One day right now.
You really need to listen to yourself for real, because that's just where it's like, I'm like, my mind freaking went blank.
No, you're good. You're good. We were just.
The levels. Just
Yeah.
'cause, like when you're just learning certain things,
Mhm.
that's just where if you're still seeing yourself at a level 1, you'll be very disheartening and just a disservice to yourself for real.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just so important because the conditioning is deep in the sense of they know why they keep us in the fear. They know why they say these certain statements. You know, it's because they don't want us to slow down. They don't want us to rest, because that's the true flow.
They're like, whoa, that was too much. It's like, no, you just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that's why I say, like, when you're really working with yourself and you keep raising, like, you keep changing your perspective as you go, that's where you're being honest with yourself in the sense of what you need to work on for yourself, for real, you know, rather than just you dismissing like the higher information, you know, that's coming for you to receive. That's where your ego can dismiss it and be like, well, it's this, like, well, it's this. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you move from a certain knowing and the truth of, like, we're being conditioned, that's what is able for you to quiet that mind of, like, resting and worrying. And so it's like you're coming in and you're telling yourself, like, dude, we were raised to do this.
We were, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're on your own team.
No, because now you really have to come in and reparent yourself and be like, it's okay, chill, take a nap, rest.
I know, yeah.
Like, you really have to go in and do that. And that's what people don't understand. Like, people just let these thoughts come and go. But that's where it's like, no, your present self has to come in and be like, yo, we're here. Like, we're in our own living room. Take a fucking nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. That ass.
Yeah, because, so and that's it, even full circle in the sense of, like, that's where our body is more dangerous, because the trauma is there. And that's why energetically, when we're trying to rest, our body's like, bitch, fuck no. And our head is like, why are we feeling this? Because your body is already feeling uncomfortable with the stillness. So that's where...
She just did a full circle moment to the beginning of the podcast.
Yes.
And this was her first one. Supposedly she's a professional over here. To wrap it up from the beginning.
Yeah, because that's
great.
Ultimately what the fuck it is. And so please go in and tell yourselves that, like, where you are today and what to do today.
You are your own enemy. What they say.
Yeah. No, literally.
And it's you against you. No matter what. Because you are, there's only one of you.
Yeah.
And you are the only one in your head.
Literally.
And if you allow other people in your head, that's you allowing them. So it's still you against you.
Yeah. And even when you are allowing other people in your head, that's just, you're the only one who truly knows who you're allowing, how long you're allowing. Yeah. You know? For real. Only you know.
It seems so simple, but yet so like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's us. That's what we do. That's a part of the experience. We're here to make shit difficult.
I hope you love that ending.
No, for real, guys.
Thank you so much for being here. It was so easy, so
Thank
great.
you so much for having me.
I had a good time.
I know.
You had a good time or not?
Yeah, it was fun.
But I'm just glad to have another perspective and like outside source, outside voice, energy, everything. And maybe we can do this again before you leave us.
Yes, it's so good to be here, and that's what I'm saying. Invite me back.
Yeah,
for sure, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, you guys know I'm really just busy this weekend. But other than that, all yours.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe. We're gonna add your stuff down below.
Yeah, it'll be in the description if you want to find her.
You can trust her. I promise. You will not be disappointed.
I'm telling you, dude. Don't even add me. Just watch my videos first.
Oh, she don't need the follow.
No, what? Come on.
That's though. There's no. You won't. Once you see her, it'll be there.
I'm for the people.
It'll be there.
It.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.